Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. It's time for a girl on time. It's time for a
Bonjour, my friends. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday. It's morning. I have my only cup of coffee here because there was only enough milk for one. And it's barely. I mean, this is darker than I like my coffee. You see that? That's dark. I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but anyways, also, thank you for coming to brunch. I brought peanut butter toast. That's what I'm eating. You know, I may need to learn to drink my coffee black. Well, I could sugar it. I still have sugar. But I don't have any cream or milk. So, and thank you guys for the 18th. Congrats on 1,800 subs. I think we do have a buffer now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Tiny Piggy, you here? You have to listen today? I think you mean you can only listen. But thank you. Yes, I know Saturdays are a weird day for some of us, but this case is, it's not a veteran's hat. It's Florida. It's a Florida hat. It's the only hat I have. Well, no, that's not true. I have one other hat and then I have some toques. But I don't think it's a veteran's hat. I got it at a gift shop. Same with the shirt. I wish I was in Florida. Well, I was not trying to make it look like that, William. Anyways, if you're just joining us, I have linked in the description below the part 1 of this case. It will probably end up being at least 3 to 4 parts. Yeah, at least. It's like 6 hours of court. So buckle in. Tell us what you had for brunch or breakfast today. If you didn't like what you had, tell us what you wish you had. I don't have tortillas. I could make tortillas later. Or I might just, I don't know. Maybe I'll just eat my peanut butter toast and not try and find happiness in food. But you know, can't make any guarantees. Let's put it that way. Also, I've been drinking these bubblies. They are disgusting. The smell is even worse. Ooh. In fact, I don't want to drink it now that I smelled it. But earlier, before I had smelled it, I drank it just fine. So weird. But it's bubbly and I need something bubbly. No, it smells like, hold on. Let me drink it first. No smelling it. Pretty much fine. I'm getting a faint aftertaste of not watermelon, but something. But when I smell it, ooh, yeah, it's gross. It's sulfur. It's a little bit of sulfur. There's nothing watermelon about it. Yeah, and I am going to make I have flour, lard, and water, so I probably am going to make tortillas. I can't find the tortilla press, but I have a rolling. Oh, no, I don't have a rolling pin, but you know what I've been using as my rolling pin lately? You guys might freak out. This is terrible. the roll of saran wrap came out of the box, and it's a perfect rolling pin. Nothing sticks to it. It's perfect. So I've been using the roll of saran wrap lately as a rolling pin, and it's perfect. I don't know what I'm going to do when I use it all up. I don't use saran wrap very much. I think some people call it cling film or plastic wrap. But I've always called it saran wrap because I think Saran is the brand. I don't know. Oh yeah, I know. I'm sure I have a rolling pin. I'm sure I do. But what cling film is different? Not in Canada. There's Glad Press and Seal, where you can press it and it'll stay sealed to something, but that is different. That's not as smooth on both sides. Here, cling film would be saran wrap. If you were saying, can I get cling film? Look at that. A marble rolling pin. Yeah, that's a good one. Good idea. Anyways, so I'll probably make the tortilla. I'm going to have to make them real thin, but that's going to be fine. And maybe I'll make my hash brown breakfast wraps that I've been addicted to for a while. So I really like, for a long time, I used to get egg wraps. They're called farmer's wraps. So they have a bacon, egg, hash brown, chipotle mayo tortilla. But then I would always pick the egg out. And so now I just make them myself and I don't put egg in it. And I usually don't put bacon in it either because I'm lazy. So just hash browns, chipotle mayo in a tortilla. That's been and a little bit of cheese. That's been my breakfast lately. But like I said, we're out of tortillas. So, and we're out of a lot of things. Anyways, let's watch this.
It had more of an alcohol. They've used more alcohol as a young person.
We're almost done with this lady. I was like 135. I wrote down. We're at like 134.14 or something. 135. What are we at? 130. Oh, we're at 135 on the dot. Also, I just would like to point out that 2 pizza companies have emailed me today. Look at this. Domino's Pizza and then Boston Pizza. Boston Pizza tells me I still have a free dessert there. And Domino's Pizza says, are you a cheese lover? Yeah. I am. Stop emailing me.
In the past, for example, if somebody came in and said, I've never had a drink. I just don't drink. I didn't drink when I was 20. I don't drink when I'm 50. Would that be different than somebody who says, I drank a lot when I was in my 20s, but now I'm down to a couple beers?
Well, I would say this all plays into a factor in the assessment, but I look at what current use is, and how long ago was that abuse. I believe from my experience of 30 years, most people go through a period of time in their life where they may abuse alcohol more than others. But like I said, as you get older and life circumstances change, generally the use changes too.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Pace, now any recross?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Lotz, thank you for your testimony. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
So who do we have?
I have a Lindsay McMillan.
Then I will call Lindsay.
I was going to ask if we could take a quick recess so I could use the restroom.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Oh yeah,
Let's,
So,
let's take 10 minutes.
we
all
agree.
right. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll put everybody back in the waiting here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one moment. I'll get us back on the record here. We're back on the record.
Okay. Welcome back. We have Ms. Ms. McMillan coming in. Ms. McMillan, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Ma'am, what we're going to do is we're going to take some testimony from you. So we'll have you raise your right hand, be sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. McNitt.
Ms. McMillan, where do you live?
In Chicago, Illinois.
And do you work?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I'm a registered nurse.
And do you know the parties?
Yes.
How do you know them?
Jacob Smith is my cousin.
And how often did you?
All right. So she's a nurse from Illinois, and that's her cousin down there. I actually thought they were going to be siblings. They do look alike. Hi, Sashina. Your dad's in town. This guy's bringing his whole family, everybody at his work and everybody in. Oh, also forgive me for eating, but all this pizza talk's making me hungry, and all I got is peanut butter toast and coffee.
You see him when you were growing up?
Very regularly. We lived on the same street, so we would have very frequent family functions together.
And what kind of a relationship did you have with him when you were young?
We did lots of activities together. I can remember fond memories of ATV rides, blueberry picking, bonfires. We did very many activities together.
What kind of a relationship do you have with him now?
Now, since I live out of state, we try to make efforts to see each other whenever I come into town, just for special events, holidays, things like that.
Any idea on how often you're able to see him and do things with him?
More recently, in the last couple of years, I've tried to come home every few months. Before that, when I was living in Texas, it was about once or twice a year.
And what kind of an adult is Jacob now?
Jacob, I know him to be a very responsible adult. He's had a very successful career in the military, and he's transitioned that into a very successful career in the civilian world as well.
Have you seen him be impulsive?
Never.
What kind of a temper does he have?
Are you going to tell me that for real? Never made an impulsive move in his life. That sounds bad.
He's very level-headed. I've always known him to keep his calm, and I've never known him to have a temper.
How well does he communicate with you?
Very well. Whenever we have, events in the at family functions and stuff, we always just talk and have clear communication there.
Is he helpful to family members?
Very. He's a very family-oriented person and has been particularly helpful to me in my adult life, transitioning from living on my own and military life.
How has he been helpful to you?
So when I was 17 is when I graduated high school, and I moved from Michigan to Texas. I was a military spouse, so I was kind of new to adult life and just military world in general. So I was in El Paso, Texas, where he was stationed in Tucson, Arizona. So he would regularly come over to El Paso, or I would try to go over to Arizona, and we would, just kind of be like a mentor to me, kind of getting me adjusted to adult life and what to expect with military things, stuff like that. He always made sure I knew that I could go to him for anything.
Have you seen him with his children?
Yes.
And what do you observe about him when he's with his children?
He's always very attentive. I notice that that's always the top priority and his top focus when his children are present. Always making sure that they're taken care of and involved with everything.
Have you seen him, do activities with his kids?
Since our hanging out recently has been more like family events and stuff like that, it's limited to family functions. But when we were there, I seen him, play with his kids. Just at a recent function, I remember one of my close family friends, Kenzie Ashley, she had her son there as well, and he had all the kids in the basement playing with them while the adults were upstairs.
Have you ever seen him have to discipline the children or redirect them?
Nothing specific comes to mind, but I can say that there's never been any yelling or, harsh words said.
Any corporal punishment?
Definitely not.
And have you observed him with Ms. Wenzel?
On a handful of occasions.
Okay. And have you observed the children with Ms. Wenzel?
On very few occasions, just when at the very beginning, when the babies were young, she would be at some family functions, but not very well so that I can speak on how they are with her.
Have you ever observed that Jacob and Ms. Wenzel drinking alcohol together?
Only on one occasion I can recall, which was in July of 2023
And where did that occur?
at Firekeepers Casino in Battle Creek.
And what did you observe?
I was there with my mother, Amy Clark, and a close family friend, Kenzie Ashley. We were there.
Oh, this is Amy's kid. Amy who testified. We heard testify her. We heard testify yesterday. Amy Clark, who apparently keeps this lady's kids all the time. I can't wait till we get to the juicy shit. Can we get to the juicy shit? Can we? Well, thank you so much. $18 for 1,800. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Seriously, I so appreciate your support. I can't believe we're at 1,800. I don't want to jinx it. I want it to keep growing the way it is because that's good news for everybody. But thank you guys so much. Seriously, Jim, thank you for supporting the channel. They were at the casino again. They were not betting with KCC chips, I don't think.
Not too long, we seen them and greeted them, talked for a little bit. I know my mother offered to buy them a drink, and that's when we were told that they're out on a date night. Jacob was the designated driver, so he declined and did not have a drink with us.
And could you ascertain whether they seemed like they had been drinking earlier or not? Did either of them seem intoxicated?
Jacob did not seem intoxicated, no. I don't recall Miss Wenzel speaking much. She said very few words.
When you were when you were out west and you were a military spouse and Jacob was in the military, did you go out drinking with him then?
There had been times that we would have a few beverages on our hangouts, but it was never the priority of the hangout. It was always just kind of in a responsible manner. He never drove. It was always in a safe setting and never when he was in the care of his kids.
MB, I'm sorry to hear that, but I understand the need. So we are with you. Well, probably not in the air. They don't let me come up there. No, I'm just joking. I know. The people on crazy case.
Did you ever go out and drink and then have to get a ride back to someplace else?
No, and the times that we would hang out, it would always be at one of our houses. And that when I was in Texas, it would either be at my apartment or his apartment. And it was always, that would be the place we would consume. We wouldn't go out to anywhere.
And have you ever seen Jacob vomit after drinking too much?
Never.
Have you ever seen him out of control?
Never.
Have you ever seen him drink to the point that he became angry or violent in any way?
Never.
Have you seen anything when Jacob's children are in his care that would give you concerns about their safety?
Absolutely not. I've always known Jake to be very kind and loyal person, and that shows in his parenting style as well. He's very attentive to his kids and has been a strong presence as a daily role model to them.
When you've seen him at these family functions, have you observed him changing diapers?
Yes.
Have you observed him getting food for the children?
Yes.
If the children need something, does he break away from whatever he's doing to attend to the child?
Absolutely. I think he's always put them first, and made them the top priority of any function.
I have no further questions.
Okay, Ms. Paisno, any cross?
Thank you. Miss McMillan, how old are you currently?
I'm 26.
So with back almost 10 years ago is when you guys were in Arizona and Texas. Is that correct?
Correct.
A little bit less than 10. And Mr. Smith is your cousin, correct?
Yes.
So you're probably not going to say anything negative about him. Is that correct?
I would speak the truth.
Okay. I didn't say speak the truth, but I'm sure he didn't call you as a witness today because you were going to say something negative about him. Is that correct?
I suppose.
Okay. And in the past 6 months, how many times have you seen Mr. Smith?
I couldn't give you an exact number, but I would guess anywhere between 4 to 6 times.
Okay. And during those 4 to 6 times, how long were you with him? An hour, 2 hours, 4 hours?
Probably more than 4 hours. Most of these would be for family events and functions, holidays, things like that, which tend to last most of the afternoon and evening.
Okay. And so you haven't seen him outside a holiday event, is that correct?
Not in the last 6 months.
Okay.
And other than holiday events, just like special events, family events, things like that, not necessarily only holidays.
Okay. When you say special events for the family, what do you mean by that?
Just, I mean, I come home so infrequently that a lot of times we'll try to do like a dinner or meet up, just, when we haven't had to hang out in a while.
Okay. And would that be just you and him, or would that be a whole family event?
Most of the full family, aunts, uncles, my grandparents' house would be the usual spot.
Okay. At those family events or holidays, is there alcohol there?
Yes, there is.
Do people consume alcohol there?
Not very regularly, and I have never once seen Jacob consume alcohol at one of these family functions since he's had kids.
Since he's had kids, or since their party's separated?
To my knowledge, since he's had kids, I can't recall him really drinking at any of these family functions in the past multiple years.
Okay. Prior to, I'll say August of 2023, how regularly were you seeing Jacob with the kids?
It would have been about the same sporadically over every few months when I would come into town.
Okay. How often do you talk to Jacob?
Every couple months. We try to stay in contact over phone and stuff, but it's hard we have busy lives. I work night shifts, so I don't really talk with much family other than when I come into town.
Okay. So fair to say you and Jake aren't as close as you used to be. You don't get as much contact. Is that correct?
We still remain very close. Just in the terms of contact, no, we don't hang out as much.
Okay. At these family functions that you indicated prior to the separation of the parties, was Megan at all of those same family functions with the children?
She was at a handful of them, but primarily it was Jake bringing the kids alone. I can remember her at a few functions, but not very many.
Okay. When she was at those functions, was she attentive to the children?
She didn't interact too much with me. She kind of was more quiet and reserved. She was with the kids as well, but.
So you said she was with the kids?
Yes.
Okay. Now, prior to 2023, July of 2023, when you were seeing Jacob, those, I'll say few and far between at family functions, did you indicate you didn't see him drinking alcohol?
To my knowledge, no, I did not see him drinking alcohol at these events.
Okay. But alcohol was there, correct?
At the holiday events, yes, there'd be wine or something like that. Usually not
Okay.
hard liquor.
Okay. Except for the casino that you saw Megan at, where you are indicating she was consuming alcohol. Have you seen Megan consume alcohol any other time besides that one time?
No, not to my knowledge. I have only seen her a handful of times.
Okay. So you don't know Megan very, very well. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
How long Megan and Jake dated?
I'm not sure of that timeline now.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay, Ms. McNiff, any redirect?
Nothing further.
Okay, Ms. McMillan, thank you for your testimony. You're free to go and have a good day.
Thank you as well.
Next witness, Ms. McMillan.
Who do we have in the waiting room?
I have a Britney Ryder.
We will call Brittany.
Okay.
Mom's face did something there. Who's Brittany?
Miss Ryder,
Brittany looks like mom. What's going on here?
we're going to take some testimony from you, so we need to have you raise your right hand, be sworn in, and then we'll proceed.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead, Ms. McNiff.
I just want to make sure real quickly, Brittany is your husband with you? Is it?
Yes. And he's downstairs with the kids.
Okay, so he can't hear you.
No.
Okay, because he'll be our next witness, and I just want to make sure that there's no that he doesn't overhear your testimony.
Yep, we understand. Yep, he's downstairs with the kids.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Brittany, where do you live?
Battle Creek.
And you work?
So I left my job at Bronson. I had a leadership role there for 8 years. So I left there when I had kids to be a stay-at-home mom. So that's my primary job. I recently did take on a part-time retail job just for fun.
Okay. Do you know the parties?
I do.
And how do you know them?
Jacob is my brother.
How close in age are you to Jacob?
We are 15 months apart.
Okay. And what kind of relationship did you have with him when you were young?
We grew up in a very close-knit family. So my brother and I were like best friend siblings. We did everything together.
And what kind of relationship do you have with him now?
The same kind of thing. We see each other frequently. We talk a lot. We get together just for the heck of it. He visits my house. I visit his. Same kind of close relationship.
And you understand that even though he's your brother, you need to tell the truth about him here today.
Absolutely.
How often do you see him now?
Weekly.
And you said that you have children?
I do.
How old are your children?
So my youngest turns 1 tomorrow, and my daughter is 3.5.
Are they close with Jacob's children?
Yes, they are.
And how often do the children see each other?
Well, now since his time is limited, we try and make some sort of play date every time that Jake has the kids. So every weekend he has them. There's one day on that weekend that we get the kids together.
What kind of an adult is your brother?
Jake is very thoughtful. Whether it's just lending a helping hand or bearing gifts, honest, supportive in every aspect of life, whether it's personal at home, whether it's a jump in my career, always supportive. And his dedication and commitment to anything he does in life, he sticks to it. He's just so goal oriented. And he's intelligent, like even since school days, he's so smart. Then he goes in the military and gets promoted there. And even in his role now, like he's a smart guy and he's always so positive. I could be, down and out or whatever, and he just finds a way to lighten the mood, crack a joke, bring a positive and just a positive environment everywhere he goes.
It sounds like you're proud of your brother.
I'm very proud of him.
Do you have any issues with communicating with him?
No.
Do you find that he's an effective communicator?
Yes, absolutely.
Does he spend time with your children?
He does.
And what is he like with your children?
He treats them like their own. He's so interactive. He'll be playing I have a ball pit in my living room. He'll be in the ball pit with them. He'll be tickling them. He'll be talking baby noises to my littlest one. He'll go in my play kitchen and they'll be making pretend dinners together. They'll be in my backyard riding the quads around, chasing them around, teaching them how to hit a ball off the tee.
I'm sorry, riding the quads? The children are under 3 years old. What? Also, ball pit in your living room, getting a job in retail for fun. This lady is sick. Somebody needs to check in on this lady. This is fucked up.
Does he ever watch your children?
He has on a couple different occasions.
And do you trust him, like, to change diapers and get them fed?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you seen him with his kids?
I have.
And what is he like with his kids?
Just the same interactive father. He is always teaching them something new. He's, outside in the yard. But, even when he's like mowing the lawn, Asher will have his little lawnmower pushing the lawn, or he's just so engaged. He takes advantage of every little minute that he gets to spend with them.
Is he able to handle all 4 of the little ones together?
Yeah, there's one time where I didn't actually leave premises. I just needed to leave the area for a little bit, and he came back and they were playing Ring Around the Rosie. And he just finds an activity that they all can do and entertained at. I have a water table in the backyard, and all the kids were playing at the water table when I got home one day. So yeah, everything has seemed to go fine.
Have you seen him with the children and Ms. Wenzel?
I have.
Has he been helpful to Ms. Wenzel?
Yes, all the time.
Did he ever have concerns that he shared with you about Ms. Wenzel complaining about him not helping around the house?
Yes.
A water table is actually a deep plastic table, possibly about that deep. Oh, sorry, you can't see. That deep, maybe a little bit more, at child level. And a lot of places will fill it with sand or with beans. But the key factor of it is that they do have a drain in the bottom. And so you can use them outside and with water, or you could use them inside with beans or sand. They're going to be messy, but it's a total humble brag to have that, to have a ball pit, a water table, all those kinds of things. Again, working in retail for fun. I'm sorry, what? And yes, he will bring world peace. All hail Jacob.
A couple different occasions. We all live in very close proximity, and there were a couple times where he had just stopped by the house just to talk and had expressed concerns during those visits. How he does so much after even the long days of work. He will come home and cook dinner and clean up dinner and give the boys a bath, get the boys in their pajamas, and she will find one thing that he didn't do and would get upset at him about it.
Did you ever observe him helping around his house?
Yeah, I've seen him. Our random stops at their house, he'd be out in the yard, picking up, doing something in the yard. That was what he would like to do. He just has a passion of yard work. But there were also other occasions where we attended events at their house. I think one was a birthday party and the other one was a baptismal, congratulatory party. And I seen him, he was packing up the food and picking up the kitchen after the event, even with guests still there. He was picking things up, getting the table cleared off, putting the food in the fridge and emptying the trash, all while we were still there.
Did the house always seem neat and tidy when you were over there?
Yep.
Have you been to his current house?
I have.
And what's that house like?
His house is beautiful. He spent a lot of time and energy completely remodeling that house. Everything from ceiling to the floor has been redone, and it's beautiful. New furniture, new appliances. I'm so proud of him for doing that.
Is it neat and tidy?
Yes.
Based on what your observations were, do you believe that Ms. Wenzel's complaints about your brother not helping were valid?
No.
No, but did she ever make those complaints, or did he make them to you? This is fucking disgusting. This is horrible. Oh, I hope the judge reprimands them for all this waste. Yeah, he remodeled it all himself, all by hand. He's a DIY decorator. He takes care of the kids, works 36-hour shifts, and is obsessed with the lawn.
And why not?
Because I know he is a hard worker. I know he does what he can for that family. When he was in the military, there's something he told me, and it stuck with me ever since he said this. He said, if I want to settle down in one place and start a family, I have to leave the service. And that's exactly what he did. And when he says something like that and leaves something big that he's put so much time and commitment into, he's going to do what he can to make it work. And, you know, I've just witnessed everything he does for Megan and that family. And for him to come back and say, like, I feel like I'm never doing enough, or she makes it seem like I need to do more, and he's just tired. Like yeah,
Have you observed your nephews with their mom?
I have.
And what's that relationship like?
It's good.
Okay.
It's good. I can barely choke out the good words about her. It's good. But Jacob was there. Jacob made it good.
She takes care of the children too?
Yes, there were some gatherings. My house was made, I host a lot of the family gatherings, Christmases, New Year's, and I am very confident when I say that Jake is the primary caregiver at those gatherings. From the minute they arrive at my house, Jake is the one to have his arms full of diaper bags, the gift bags, food. He goes back out to the car, he carries the boys in, he takes off their shoes, he takes off their coats. It's dinner time, he makes their plate of food, he sets them down at the table, he gets them eating. He offers to make Megan's plate of food. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, but he offers. He does all of that before he even helps himself to a plate of food. Half the time he eats standing up at my counter because he has to go back and forth to help the boys stay seated down to keep eating. After we eat dinner, then they need diaper changes. He's always the one to change a diaper. And their entire relationship, however long that was, 3 years, whatever, I've probably have witnessed Megan change 2 diapers, maybe 2. And then
Did Jake?
Oh, that really pissed her off. Did you see her? She said something to her lawyer there. Ma'am, I don't think that it's good. You're going to win here. They're not with you all the time when you were there. Like, oh, this is terrible. And maybe it is mom's fault because of all the allegations, but me neither, Chuck. Me neither.
Jake ever do anything with the car at, when they were getting ready to leave?
Yep. So after all the festivities are wrapped up, so it's Christmas, Jake's packing all the toys into the bags. He's loading the car up with all of these bags. He's getting their coats and shoes back on. As he's loading the bags in the car, he's turning the car on to make sure it's warm for him. He's scraping off the snow if it's winter. If it's summer, he's turning on the car to cool it down. He loads up the car, loads up the bags, the kids, everything. And Megan will be like sitting at the bar stool talking to us while he's doing all of this.
And was Megan friendly to you?
Yeah.
And to the family?
Yes.
Was she also helpful with the kids?
Not as much. There'd be even times where, and not just even at my house, but even out and about, where any of the 3 boys would say, Mom, can I have this? Or Mom, can I go do this? Or Mom,
I'm going to
can you buy
object as
this?
to hearsay, anything that the children are saying.
Sustained. Ma'am, you can't say what somebody
Okay.
else says.
I
okay?
understand. Okay. Sorry.
Right, and we can move on.
Okay.
Have you seen, so your nephew Sam is 2?
Yes.
And do you know if he's still nursing?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay. Have you seen him eat solid food?
Yes. Yes. He's been eating solid foods for quite some time.
And is he a good eater?
Yes, absolutely. He's one of the best eaters out of the 4 grandkids.
Okay. What have you seen with regard to what your brother provides in terms of material things for his children?
I have to admit, I've said it here before. I'll say it again. I breastfed my daughter till she was 2.5 years old. So I can't really be making any judgments. But let me tell you something right now. Nobody gave my daughter a bottle, so I don't know. This is all weird. Hi, Cole. How are you doing? Oh, back from the pool, laying down for a nap, resting. I love it. I love it. If she's doing it to keep the kid away from dad, that's not good, of course. Also, at 2 years old, over 2 years old, it's obvious they are eating solid foods. You start solid foods at 6 months old and work them in. So even if you are breastfeeding, you're not exclusively breastfeeding at 2 or 2.5 years old. It is generally more of a comfort thing.
Yeah, so he is always the one, like we'll go out to dinners. He's always the one to pay the bill. When we're on vacations, he takes them in gift shops and he buys them souvenirs. And that's Noah included. We were in Mackinac City.
And just to clarify, because I don't think we've had a lot of testimony, who is Noah?
Noah is Megan's son.
And not a son of the parties.
Right.
And do you know approximately how old Noah is?
9 or 10.
Okay. So I'm sorry, you're saying your brother purchases things for
Yes.
Noah as well?
Yes. Yes. We've gone to events and sporting events. He purchases the tickets. Again, in all of their relationship, I honestly can remember maybe one time where I've even seen Megan carry a purse or a wallet. Jake is 100% I've witnessed him be the financial provider in the house.
You know, fucking works. Britney. Just because he pays for things doesn't mean you don't know fucking shit, Britney. I'm sorry, but this is annoying to me. If somebody was picking apart, oh, he bought everything on that trip. Yeah, maybe he did, but you don't know how many blowjobs she gave him or what. Terrible.
Them and their family.
When the children are with your brother, do they have appropriate clothing?
Yes.
Do they have coats, shoes, boots?
Yes, they have all of that.
Do they can you describe what their bedrooms are like?
Their bedrooms are so special to them. They are very nice. Jake included them in the remodel. The boys got to pick out their paint and their themes. So each room has a theme. Each boy has their own bed. They have Lego tables. They have Play-Doh tables. They have little kitchen play sets. They love it. It's a perfect room for little kids.
You said you spend holidays with your brother.
I do.
Do you recall Christmas in 2023?
I do.
And what did you see your brother do for the kids for Christmas?
Jake brought up all the Christmas traditions that we grow up with, all the fun little, hanging the stockings and decorating the Christmas tree.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Oh. Something actually unique. Hanging stockings? Decorating a tree? This is a joke, right? Come on.
And just making it a joyous Christmas.
When
Gifts and
When was the last birthday celebration you attended for one of the kids?
if I could, I'd like to talk about the last birthday for each of them since they both had recent birthdays.
That would be
But
great.
yeah. So Jake planned a very special, extravagant birthday for Asher. We went to a water park and spent the weekend there. Asher loves the water park. Jake planned everything.
Spent the weekend at a water park for a child's birthday under 5. That's what is going on here?
We did the arcade, we did the water park, we went back to the hotel room where Escher was surprised with a room full of decorations in Spider-Man theme, his favorite. We had cupcakes, we had gifts, we even played a little game. And then the next day we went to the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. It was just all well thought out and planned, and all the kids had a great time. And then Sam's birthday, we had at Jake's house. And again, Jake had a Mickey Mouse theme party, decorations again.
Wow, Sam, just to let you know, Daddy likes your brother more. Taking him away for the weekend, spending a hotel weekend for that one, and then you got Pin the Tail on the Donkey at the house for the other one. I wonder what Noah got. I'm thinking nothing.
And had a special cake, specially made, personalized for Sam. Everything is, like I said, he's just so thoughtful, and he put together 2 really great special days that those boys had fun at.
During any of these celebrations, did you see your brother drink?
No,
And have you seen him drink at any family gatherings in the last 6 months?
no,
In the last year?
no.
Can you remember the last time that he had alcohol?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Chuck. And if everything was so perfect and William, I'm screwed. And Jacob, sorry, not Team Jake. I don't know whose team I'm on. But anyways, if Jacob was doing everything so perfectly all the time forever, why would she leave? Maybe he wasn't putting out too.
When he had the children?
Probably the summer before that, so 2022 on the boat, and Megan was present.
And when he would, was that a regular thing to go on the boat, or was that a one-time thing?
No, it wasn't one time. We live on the lake, so we spend a lot of the summertime on the lake.
So
On the boat.
in 2022, were Jake and Megan and the kids spending a lot of time with your family on the boat?
Yes.
And did you see either or both of them drinking during 2022?
There were days where both of them would, and there were days maybe Jake would only have 1 or 2.
And when what was the common amount of alcohol that each of them would have? What was the average?
2, no more than 3 in a full day's on the boat.
Did you ever see either of them intoxicated to the point that you thought they were unable to care for the kids?
No.
Did Jake ever drive the boat?
Occasionally, but not frequently.
Okay. Was he ever?
Occasionally.
Did you ever see him at a point where you thought maybe he was drinking too much to drive the boat?
No.
Did you ever see either of them drink to the point where you thought they shouldn't drive the kids home?
No.
Did you ever observe them having any arguments about the amount of alcohol that was being consumed by either of them?
No, they're very vaguely. I remember maybe Megan had questioned him one day about how many of those are you going to drink? And he replied, "This is my second." And it was the second, because yeah.
Do you have you ever been concerned about your brother's consumption of alcohol?
No, I not and haven't.
Are you aware of any disagreements your brother and your mom might have had about alcohol?
No. No.
Do you have any concerns about the children's care when they're with your brother?
Absolutely not.
Have you had the opportunity to see your brother with the kids for an extended period of time? You mentioned that there was a weekend. Have you spent more than a weekend with your brother and his kids?
I don't know. I haven't really been given the opportunity because I mean he doesn't have them for that long. So
And when you were with him for that weekend, did he
Mhm.
change Asher's diaper?
yes.
Did he give up any of his parenting responsibilities to you or to your mom or to anyone else?
No. There was even a night we were hanging out in the hotel room and Jake had pulled the boys aside to make sure they had a bath before it was bedtime.
I have no further questions.
Okay, here we go. Leslie, come on, Leslie. Leslie has a much better pace at questioning. It really flows better. All right. Hammer it home. Hammer it home.
Ms. Pazno, I need cross.
Thank you, Miss Ryder. You were just asked if you've witnessed your brother change Asher's diaper. How old is Asher?
Asher is 4.
And he's still in a diaper?
Rarely during his birthday weekend, he was, but recently I don't think he is wearing diapers anymore.
When's the last time you saw Asher?
The last weekend that he was with Jake.
Do you see the boys every weekend that Jake has the boys?
9 out of 10 times, yes.
And you guys all spend time as a family? You, your
Yes.
mom, Jake, every weekend that he has the boys?
Yep.
And you guys go to all the events that the children have at those times as well? I'll
What?
rephrase it. Do you go to soccer?
It's a good point, Tal. I was mostly making the comment that they are really painting him to be a saint. And I just think there's a little bit of humility in recognizing that I'm sure both people added to it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Also, yeah, 4 in diapers or pull-ups is pretty old for kids. And if you're telling me that they were in diapers for a specific weekend when they normally aren't, that's a weird thing. That sounds a bit lazy and actually detrimental. If you've got a kid that's potty trained, you don't want to revert them back to diapers.
I do not. My daughter has other obligations that same night, so it's hard for me to make those Wednesdays.
Okay. You said Asher, when was Asher's birthday party?
January, it was the weekend just before his birthday. His birthday, I believe, was on a Monday, and it was the weekend before.
Okay. When is Asher's birthday?
January 29th.
So it was the weekend prior to January 29th?
Yes.
When's Samuel's birthday?
March 4th. I'm not.
And when was Samuel's party?
Huh. How close are you, Auntie? That's weird. That's actually weird. I know my nephew's birthday. My sister knows my daughter's birthday. My 2 sisters that live in Nova Scotia, far away from me and are a lot younger than me, maybe they know my daughter's birthday, but my definitely does. That and to together, that seems weird. That seems weird.
That same week of his birthday, the weekend that Jake had the boys.
Okay. Do you know if Jake had either boy for the time on their actual birthday?
He did.
Do you know how much time he had with the boys on those days?
3 hours.
Are you guessing at 3 hours, or you think he had 3 hours?
I was pretty sure it was between 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. All right. You were talking about an incident in the summer of 2022 that you guys were all out on the boat and the children were there. Was that the same incident that you said Megan asked Jake, how many of those are you going to have?
I can't be certain. That was the same incident. There was too many. We spent too much time on the boat. I don't know.
Okay. Was there a time on the boat in summer of 2022 where Jacob had too much to drink and he passed out on your mother's couch?
Not that I can recall.
Okay.
Oh, we finally heard it. There was 2022. Jacob got drunk and passed out on the couch. 50 nieces and nephews. That is no. I have one nephew. That's it. And he's fresh. So just born just before my birthday in March. Another little Aries birthday. So I can't imagine having 50 nieces and nephews. That's insanity to me. I literally have one. And I gave him a bath. And I've changed diapers. I am the Jacob. No, I'm joking. Thank you so much. Jacob. You have 58 cousins on your phone. What the? Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. I think here's the thing. My mom is an only child. My dad wasn't an only child, but he moved here from Scotland. So he didn't have any family in the country. So it was just our family, our very small family.
Do you recall a conversation with Megan about Jake passing out at your mother's house on the couch?
I don't.
Do you know Jacob's work schedule?
As far as Monday through Friday, early to 4 o'clock, like I is that answer?
Okay. Do you know how much is he required to work overtime ever?
He does work overtime. I'm not certain if it's required.
Okay. Since October of 2023, have you been present at any of the exchanges where the children have gone from mom to dad?
No.
Now, you indicated that Jake has clothing at his house. Do you know who purchased that clothing?
It's a mix between himself, myself, and my mom.
So you and your mom also help
Absolutely.
pay for the clothing. Okay. Now, you indicated that Jake pays for everything. He always paid the bill. He paid for souvenirs. Do you know if Jake paid any rent while living with Megan?
He did.
Do you know how much?
I'm not certain.
Do you know if he paid for utilities or anything else there?
My impression was yes, he did actually, yes.
Every month?
The consumers was in his name. I remember a conversation with him about that.
And you said you don't remember how much he paid in rent?
I don't know.
No, you, through your testimony, made it sound like Megan kind of wasn't involved at these family function. Is that fair of what you were trying to indicate?
I'm trying to indicate that at the family functions, I'm confident in saying Jake is the primary caregiver where he does a majority of the parenting.
At those family functions, do you know who, prior to arriving, got the bags ready to be brought over to your house?
I know, no, I don't.
Okay, and you don't know who prepared the food either that would be come along, do you?
I don't.
Okay.
Um,
And do you know who wrapped the presents when they came over?
My brother did comment one year that he had wrapped the presents because we were teasing about something with the wrapping, and he is a humorous guy, and he was joking, and so I knew that he had done that
Okay, so that one occasion you knew he did out of
for
the other time.
Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay. Now, in regards to those family events, Megan breastfed both children, is that correct?
yes.
So at those events, there were times when she was breastfeeding, she was also trying to eat, and she was trying to do other things. Is that fair to say?
I cannot remember the last time I've seen Megan breastfeed though.
Do you
Even with Sam.
recall prior to October of 2023, but within the last 2 years that she's actually asked for help? Like, hey, Jake, can you help me out here for a second? I got a kid in my arm, I'm breastfeeding, and I'm trying to do something else.
I mean, I can't say that she said that. I don't know.
How often were you stopping over at Megan Jacobs' house?
Not often.
Like, how far do you live from Megan's house?
Walking distance.
Less than
Two streets over. Yes,
Okay.
I would say less than a mile.
Okay. Was it more often that Jake would stop by your house or you would stop by Megan's house?
He would stop by mine.
Okay. So because it wasn't very often you were within their home, you really don't know, except for a couple occasions, what their life really was like. Is that fair to say?
I haven't witnessed what their life was like. I just know from my brother's phone calls and in-person conversations with his vents and telling me the things that were happening.
So it was his perception of what was going on,
Sure,
correct?
sure.
Okay. Did you ever talk to Megan about what life was like with them or complaints that your brother was indicating?
No, I wasn't comfortable with that.
Okay. Prior to October of 2023, how often were you seeing Jacob and the boys together?
Anytime our family got together, several times a month. I felt like things were pretty difficult to plan with them and get together. So
I love that, MB. I've had a conversation like that before with somebody and been like, you'd be okay if I made all the money? Hell yeah, let me put on my apron and hang out. Bring on the bacon, baby. It's still not happened, but one day.
it was more for an occasion, a celebration, and acknowledging something that was going on in somebody's life, birthday, holiday.
So it wasn't, except for the summer of 22, we were talking, you guys were on the boat was all the time. When you were talking about was that you, Megan, and Jacob, or was it you and your family?
Me and my family planning with Megan and Jacob.
Okay. Now, you said it was difficult to plan to get together with Megan and Jacob prior to their separation?
Yeah, because just from conversations, I don't want this to be, I'm trying to figure out, Jake had to go through Megan a lot to okay things and approve of things. So although Jacob was on board and wanted to do this or wanted to go to grandma's, he always had to wait for Megan's confirmation and make sure she didn't have plans that he made.
I love it. I love it, MB. And here's the thing. I don't give a shit about typical gender roles. What I think is and you don't have kids. You guys don't have kids, if I recall correctly. So when you have a kid, that's a full-time job. So then when somebody wants somebody, generally moms, to be working and taking care of a kid and taking care of a house, that's when things get all askew, right? But if you have time and somebody providing the money to be able to buy the things that you need for the house, I would love to be a stay-at-home mom. I would have loved to do that and be able to cook and clean and do all those different things. It's just in the town that I live in, it's just not feasible for two adults for one not to work. But if I had had my choice, I would have spent all of my time not working. Imagine that. But I was working in a different way. Like, I love to cook. I love to do recipes. I don't mind. I mean, I'll clean. And if I didn't have to work, I will clean a lot better. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. And the only way somebody's going to prove me wrong is by letting me stay at home.
Not known about, or maybe she didn't want to come, or whatever the deal was at home. But it made things difficult.
So that's why you saw them on fewer occasions.
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Ms. McNiff, any redirect?
Sure. You indicated that you and your mom buy some clothes for your brother's kids. Is that because he can't afford them or doesn't have them, or because you just enjoy gifting clothes to them?
Because I'm a shopper and I enjoy gifting clothes. I work in liquidation and get good deals, and I always have my nephews at the forefront of my shopping habits.
Why weren't you comfortable talking to Megan about what was going on with her and your brother?
I didn't want to cause any more conflict between the two of them, because I know how difficult she was to work with, and I felt like I was walking on a lot of eggshells. And so I never really pushed any topic. I kind of, like Jake, I think, does kind of, we do what we can to keep things civil, happy, and smooth sailing, because really anyone in the family, my family, doesn't like conflict. We're not good with it. We don't want it. We want everyone to be happy. So we walk on eggshells to make sure that happens and that we're still able to get together for family functions, because that's important to us.
Did Megan ever come to you and express concerns about your brother's drinking?
No.
Did your brother ever express concerns to you about problems that he was having in his relationship with Megan?
Yeah, we had, yeah, that's why he would stop by the house or shoot a phone call, or we'd go out to dinner and just talk about, because, I mean, he was stressed and that helps him he needed reason. Like, what more can I do? I do it all and it's still never enough.
What did he tell you? What kinds of things they would argue about?
Money.
Was that the primary issue?
From my perspective, yes. That's what kicked off the separation, from my understanding. Jake was asking for help, not real help, or more of a partnership with rent and the bills, and she did not like that, and that's what sparked all of this.
Did he ever say that they argued about who was providing more care for the children? That were there disagreements about that from what he told you?
He would just tell me that, there was a day he went to the laundromat, washed all the comforters and the sheets. He came home, he vacuumed and did the dishes. And she would get upset about little things like not cleaning off the tray on the high chair, or he didn't dry out the sink after doing dishes, so there's water spots in the sink. So he would try and help and do all these things, but she would just turn it back around on him that it was never enough and she wasn't happy or thankful.
Were those the primary issues of disagreement that he talked to you about?
Yes, the ones that stick very vividly with me. Mhm.
Did your mom ever take care of your children?
Yes. Yep.
Would you ever see Jake and his children when you were all picking up kids from your mom's?
Yes. Several times a week, we would arrive at the same time to pick up the kids.
And would you ever like stay and chat and let the kids play together?
Yes. Yep.
And how often would that happen?
Again, several times a week. Say we'd get there maybe 4-ish, and then by 5 o'clock we would be wrapping up and heading home. So half hour, 45 minutes.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Page, now any,
I don't want to listen to her husband. 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 Oh, shit. Chuck, she's in the same room as her lawyer. So she's trying to speak to her lawyer on the DL. Let's just scrub this. They took a break. All right. Here we go. Oh my God. Look at his shirt. She's a shopaholic, and this is what you have Adam wearing? Why can't I just do it? I only skipped the break.
No, right now he cannot hear us. We cannot hear him. Oh, maybe now. Can you hear us now, sir? You're still muted.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, one moment, please. We're back on the record.
okay, Mr. Ryder, we're going to take some testimony from you, so we need to have you sworn in first. If you would raise your right hand, and then we'll swear you in and proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. McNiff.
Thank you. Mr. Ryder, do you live in Battle Creek?
I do.
And do you work?
Yes.
Where do you work?
Consumers Energy.
And you're married to Britney Ryder?
Yes.
And how long have you known Jacob Smith?
15 years plus, I guess.
You're his brother-in-law?
Yes.
And what kind of relationship do you have with him?
We got a good relationship. See each other once a week at least, I guess, if not every other week.
Okay. And what kind of a person is Jacob?
Family man.
Save your breath here, Adam. He's fucking Jesus Christ reincarnated. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Jacob.
He'd do anything for his kids. He's hard worker. He's loyal to everybody. He'd drop everything to do anything that you need.
And you have children?
I do.
And what is Jacob like with your children?
It's very good. He's he'll get down there and play with them. Our kids play very well together, so they're always wanting to be next to each other. So if we're out to dinner, Jake's sometimes or most of the time gets stuck with both of them because they want to sit next to each other. But yeah, he's always willing to help out.
When you say gets tough with them, what does he do?
Stuck with them.
Oh, Stuck with him. Gotcha. Do you trust him with your kids?
Of course.
Do you have any issues with him taking care of your children when you and your wife aren't able to?
We're pretty protective parents, and he's actually about the only one other than our parents that has actually watched the kids.
And does he ever watch all the kids together?
He has my daughter, but not my son.
How does he do when all the children are together?
Very good. Wouldn't have a problem with him being with them anytime. The kids, they do run around and play, but he's very good with them.
Have you ever seen him having to correct any of the children?
I mean, they are 3, so we, going up and down the stairs and jumping off furniture they're not supposed to. It's do have to tell them no once in a while.
And how does he handle that?
Very well. I would, I'd have no problem with him, telling my daughter no, because she's doing something she's not supposed to be doing.
What kinds of things have you seen him do with his kids?
Everything. Plays with them. He's fishes with them. We play in the water, playing sports, out in his front yard, hitting the ball. We're active people, so he's out playing with them all the time.
Have you seen him change diapers?
Yes, all the time.
Prepare food for the kids?
Yes, all the time.
And when Jacob and Ms. Wenzel were together, did you often see them together?
Yes.
And what did you observe about Ms. Wenzel and the children?
I'd say most of the time when we were together, it was Jake that was taking care of the kids, whether it was getting them their food, getting them to the table, changing diapers, bringing the toys, things like that.
Okay. And did you see Ms. Wenzel changing diapers and getting the kids food?
Not usually, no.
Did you ever go boating with Jacob and Megan?
Yes.
And did they take the children?
Yes.
And who would get life jackets, life preservers on the kids?
It'd be mostly Jake or mother-in-law.
Did you ever see Jacob tubing with Noah?
Yes.
And did he take care of Noah in the same way that he took care of his children?
Of course, he acted like he was one of his own.
Do you ever recall a time being out on a boat with the parties and Noah when Jacob was not drinking alcohol?
Was not drinking alcohol? I'd say most wasn't drinking alcohol.
Okay. Do you ever recall, was there ever a time when you gave him a taste of your drink?
Yeah, I think I'd say if I've always, let's see, it was one of those specialty beers that came out a couple years ago now. Peach beers, I believe, and offered to everybody to try it.
Okay. When they would come and go boating, who would generally carry the coolers and the equipment to the boat?
That'd be Jake. He'd carry 90% of everything.
And who would generally pack it back up?
Jake.
And you said you didn't see Jake drinking that much when you'd be out on the boat?
No, not with his kids in the last couple of years. He hasn't drank much.
Okay. And what about Megan? Did you see her drink when you were out boating?
Once in a while.
Okay. But similar to Jacob?
Yeah.
Did you ever have any concerns about either of them having too much to drink?
No, we're out with the family. Nobody's drinking too much.
Is that the same with you and your wife?
Right. My wife hasn't drank much since we've had kids either. So.
Okay. Have you ever seen Jacob starting the car when it's hot out to cool it down before the kids and Megan got in?
Every time.
Have you ever seen him when it's cold out at a family event starting it up to get it warm for the kids and Megan?
Yeah, every time.
Other than boating, have you ever observed the parties drinking alcohol together?
Maybe when we're out to dinner, have a drink. Most of the time, Jake wouldn't. Once in a while, Megan would have one.
Okay. Do you ever go golfing with Jake?
Yes.
And are you familiar with his golf bag?
Yes.
Can you describe it?
It's a white and blue and red, I think, most of it, but it's an Adams golf bag.
Why? 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 Why?
And have you ever seen Jake keep alcohol in the golf bag?
No.
Have you ever seen him drinking when you go golfing?
The last year or so, no, but in the past we've had a couple beers.
So when you would go golfing, would either of you ever buy a 6-pack?
Yeah, I'd say usually we'd buy the 6-pack and split it.
And would you generally each drink 3 beers or
Sometimes it'd vary, depending on who was driving. They might not have their third one.
and how long would you be out on the golf course?
Usually they were outing, so it was 4 or 5 hours.
What's the most that you can remember seeing him drink at the golf course?
I'd say usually it's the splitting the beers, so 3, 4 maybe.
Were you ever worried after you were done golfing that he was too intoxicated to drive?
No, usually whoever was, I wouldn't say more intoxicated, but I guess if he was driving, he wasn't intoxicated, and same with me if I was driving.
Is Jacob conscientious about controlling how much he drinks if he knows he's going to be driving?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, in the last couple of years, he hasn't drank much at all.
And have you had the opportunity to spend time with Jake recently for the boys' birthday parties?
Yes.
And what did you do for Asher's birthday?
We went to a water park up north of Muskegon.
And who organized that weekend?
Jake did.
Did you observe Jacob taking care of the boys that weekend?
Yes.
And what did he do for them?
Everything. When we went to the water park, he was playing with the kids. Went to the arcade, getting them food, changing diapers, putting their swimsuits on. It was a smaller place, so it's a little harder to put their clothes on. So, but he was in there doing both of them at the same time.
And was he drinking that weekend?
No.
And did you go to Sam's birthday party?
I believe so. I
Do
can't remember.
Do you recall anything about it? If you don't, that's okay.
I don't.
Do you have any concerns about the children's care when they're in their father's custody?
No, not at all.
Do you think that he handles them on alternating weekends when you've seen him with them?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Has Jacob ever confided in you regarding any disagreements or conflicts he's had with Megan?
I'm sure we've talked a little bit on the golf course, but I wouldn't be able to recall what the conversations were.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Page, now cross-examination.
Thank you. Mr. Ryder, these boat trips that you guys are on.
Yep.
Megan was there as well, you indicated?
Not this past year, I don't believe, but before that, yes.
Okay, so this past year when Jake or his mom was getting the children ready, it's because Megan wasn't there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Same with this birthday weekend that Dad planned at the water park. Megan wasn't present to help out as well, was she?
No.
Okay, so who else would have been there to take care of the kids if Jake's a single parent for the weekend?
Me and my wife, his mom, his dad.
Okay. At no time, none of you stepped in to help out with anything during that weekend?
I'm sure we played with him and things like that, but for the most part, he did everything with his kids.
Okay, which is pretty typical when you're at a family event. You take care of your own kids and help out other kids when necessary, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so pretty typical. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, now you indicated that Jake would carry a cooler out on the boat, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that would be his cooler?
It was their cooler. They had their snacks and kids' drinks.
Okay. And their drinks if they were choosing to drink that day?
I meant more of like the kids' drinks, but water, juice.
Was there a different cooler for the alcohol that would go out on the boat?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Is there, at your family functions, when you guys get all together that you described, is there alcohol there?
Yes, occasionally, I guess.
Okay. Do you recall seeing Megan at Sam's Club in December of 2023?
I don't know when it was, but I have seen her at Sam's Club.
Okay, and she had the children with her?
Yes, I believe so.
Did your daughter recognize Asher?
She did once we got past him a little ways away.
Okay, but when they were talking to her, your daughter didn't know who he was, did she?
Did talking to him. All it was me saying hi to her.
Okay, but your daughter didn't recognize Asher, correct?
No, she wasn't paying attention.
Okay. And were you there preparing for your family Christmas party?
I don't recall.
Okay. Were you buying a gallon of Captain Morgan?
No,
Were you buying any alcohol that day?
I'm not sure.
And these events like Jake fishing with the kids, was that in the summer of 2023?
I'd say both times. Since he's had kids, we've always, had the kids out to the lake.
I'm just talking specifically the fishing.
I know for sure, 2023, yes.
Okay. How about playing ball in the front yard? Is that new you saw him in the summer of 2023 or fall of 2023?
No, that was at Megan's house.
In 2023?
No, that'd have been the year before.
How often were you at Megan's house?
Occasionally, not very often.
Do you get along with Megan?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Miss Winslow's actually taking care of your children, is that correct?
Kids have played together.
Didn't she babysit the kids once so you guys could all go to a concert?
With Jake, yes.
Jake was with you at the concert or Jake was home with Megan?
Jake was with the kids.
She's never had them alone?
I do not believe so.
Do you recall an incident, a family event in the last 2 years that Miss Winslow was breastfeeding or holding one of the babies trying to eat at the same time?
I'm sure on the boat, yes.
Okay. Or do you recall anything at the house? At your house?
I don't.
Do you recall asking her if you could take the baby from her so she could eat?
I don't recall, but if I was trying to help out, maybe, yes.
Okay. If you were trying to help out Megan, you would do that?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay. Ms. McNiff, any redirect?
No.
Okay. Mr. Ryder, thank you for your testimony. You're free to go. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor.
How do we feel, you guys? How do we feel? That is the end of the first video. I have the second video. We're definitely not watching the whole thing, but let's listen to see what they say. If it's one of these two testifying next, oh, I might be tempted.
I have two witnesses left. One is my client. I don't know. Do we have Lisa Smith in the waiting room? I thought this was going to go a little bit slower, so.
Yes, we do have Ms. Smith in the waiting room.
I'm happy to start her if the court wants to do that.
Yeah, I have that.
How long do you think that she will be?
She'll be a little bit longer than these other witnesses, but she shouldn't be crazy long.
Well,
Except I do have quite a few questions for her, so she might be a little longer than what you think.
okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break, for lunch, and we can resume at 1 o'clock.
Great.
Okay? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, now I'm interested. Okay, hold steady for a minute. I really hope this will work. I don't know if it will. I might not even be able to show the video on StreamYard. Let's see if we can. I'm going to stop my video so I don't keyframe. Preset video. Oh, well, look at me. Puzzle me fucking wrong. Not even a problem. Do you know how long it
Never argued with my son about.
Hold on. Oh, it's his mom. It's his mom, you guys. It's his mom. Oh, it's his mother. Okay. I'm just impressed. Yeah. This is a good time. Get your drinks, get your coffee. My coffee is still hot. I still have about a half of it left. I think I'm going to go get another bubbly because I just need something cold and bubbly in my mouth. That's what she said. This is nuts. Okay. But anyways, I'm impressed that it worked because this video, unfortunately, is even longer than the last one. It's well over 3 hours. And even downloaded, it was over a gigabyte. So I wasn't sure that it would let me play it, but here we are. Now, how long are these people going to take? You know, the second I slide it over, they fucking appear. This is how my life works. See?
5 years. 5
No.
years.
Oh, Lisa. Oh, Lisa. Let's do this. Right? But Vicky packed a bowl. Actually, Vicky. Very good idea. Very good idea. Okay, can we get this going, Judge, so that I can go and get my drink? People are entertained, huh? You got a 12-pack, so Jacob and you can have some beer. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Come on.
Okay, just a moment, please. I'll call us back into session. The 37th Circuit Court is back in session with the Honorable Brian K. Kirkham presiding. It is Thursday, May 2nd, 2024 at 12:58 p.m. for 2023-2376 DC, Jacob Smith versus Megan Wenzel, Attorney McNiff for plaintiff and Attorney Paisno for defendant.
Okay. Ms. McNiff, your next witness, is it Ms. Smith?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Smith, we're going to take some testimony from you, so we have to have you raise your right hand, be sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. McNiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Smith, are you Jacob Smith's mother?
I am.
And do you currently work?
No, I do not.
Are you retired?
I am.
What did you do before you retired?
So I worked as an HR benefits coordinator. I processed payroll for a company with over 150 employees, and I maintained that position for 35 years.
And when did you retire?
January of 2021.
And why did you retire?
Well, so in the beginning, when I started watching Asher, I was juggling both my full-time job and watching Asher at the same time. My employer was willing to let me do that since it was through the COVID timeframe. And but as you know, I did that for about 8 months, and I just felt like it was my calling and fair to my employer that I choose one or the other. And so I chose to retire 8 years early to be able to take care of my grandson.
And what were the hours that you took care of Asher, and how many days a week?
Monday through Friday. Typically it was like a 4:30, or I mean, excuse me, 12:30 to 5 o'clock.
And did your son ever come home early
Did he come home early?
before 5?
Oh yeah, sometimes. I mean, his schedule was very flex. I mean, sometimes some days were busier than others for him.
And when the children were born, your 2 grandchildren with Jacob, did you purchase any furniture or clothing or baby supplies for your son
All
and
the
for Wenzel?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I loved shopping for them for clothes. I bought winter coats one year for them, shoes, sandals, Crocs. I mean, I did a lot for them. I know when we found out that
Hi, Jim. Fuck cancer. How you doing? Oh, this is quite the case.
Megan and Jake were having a baby, we were also super excited. And my daughter and we offered to do a baby shower for her. She's really didn't think it was necessary because she had all the other stuff from her first child. So she still had the major items. But we ended up doing a little baby shower for her just to give her some extra clothes. And I did purchase, a Mama Roo, kind of a little gentle swing kind of vibrator thing for infants.
So these
people have the worst wording in the world. It's not a vibrator for infants. Ew.
Things necessarily that they needed, but things that you were happy to provide.
I think it was, I was just happy to provide. I was happy to contribute and yeah.
Have you ever argued with your son about his drinking?
I have never argued with my son about drinking.
Have you ever expressed concerns to him about that he's drinking too much?
Never.
Have you ever observed your son passed out on your couch in either 2022 or 2023 due to drinking too much?
I don't believe that it was due to passing out. If I'm remembering correctly, we were out on the boat all day, and I mean the sun and the wind, and if I recall, I think he had a long work day before, and so it just kind of took it out of him. And so yeah, I think he did come in and lay down and rest, but he came back out, and we continued our family outing.
Do you remember there being any conflict with him and Ms. Wenzel that day?
I don't recall anything happening.
And you didn't confront him about his use of alcohol that day?
No, I did not.
Did you go to soccer yesterday?
I did. Yes.
And did you observe your son coaching?
Yes, I did.
Did you at any time see your son get frustrated with any of the children yesterday?
No.
Is there a child named Douglas who was there?
Yes.
Was Douglas having any behavioral?
Oh, back to Douglas. Throw Douglas right under the bus again. This is insane. I swear to God, what do we even do about this? Like, Noah and Douglas, I'm worried about them.
Issues?
Yeah, so this practice, I think, was the first practice that Douglas and Asher were like on the same team. Like when practice is, the other coach, my sister, takes part of the boys and Jake takes the other part. And so this practice yesterday was the first time that Asher and Douglas were on the same end of the field practicing together. I think they feed off of one another. I think they goof around and they play, and they're not really paying attention to what the coaching that my son was doing. But I did notice that Jacob gets down on his knees so that he's at the level of the kids. So when he's coaching,
He's down on his knees like Jesus. Finally, nobody on meth for a change. But you know, he might drink 3 beers, so there is that. And these people, I mean, it's over the top. They're just like, he is amazing. Jacob is amazing. He gets down on their level so he can punch them easier, allegedly. Also, we're not, like I said, we're not watching this whole video. We've almost been going for 2 hours already today. And this video is a whopping 3 hours and 49 minutes long.
not like towering over them. And I really like that about that. And so at that point, when he was knelt down, Douglas was like behind Jake, kind of like tapping on his back, just kind of goofing around kind of thing. But when my son stood up, because he's in the middle of the scrimmage game and he's trying to concentrate and you know, guide the boys in the direction that they need to go, Douglas kind of latched on to my son's arm. And so my son was kind of like carrying him along with him, gently, not, you know, to hurt him at all, but he was trying to get Douglas to get more involved in the game, trying to get his mind, you know, more situated towards what was going on with the scrimmage game. So he was struggling a little bit with that attachment on him. And I noticed it for a little bit. And then I decided to, well, let me, before I say that, so as Jake got him loose from his arm and got him kind of engaged in the game again, Douglas kind of snuck behind Jake. Jake didn't see him. And so I think he had his, maybe his shirt. Douglas was hanging on to Jacob's shirt or his pants or something. And so when Jacob went to walk forward, he was still hanging on and Douglas fell. And that in turn caused Megan to go out onto the field and just make sure that Douglas was okay.
Did Jacob seem frustrated by Douglas at any point?
No, not at all.
And did you have any conflict with Megan at the soccer practice yesterday?
I don't see it as a conflict, but I know that she didn't take it very well. But the boys had a water break, and so they were sent off the field, and Asher came over to get a drink of water that I had for him, and he asked for a snack too. Asher asked for a snack, and I was just trying to I was really wanting Megan to know, because I don't think she realized that. And I was talking to Asher. I said, "Hey, Asher, you know, you've already had 2 Nutri-Grain bars and a packet of applesauce. So I just didn't want him eating too much and then going back out on the field to get sick, kind of thing."
And she said, "You already got one."
I'm sorry, but I can hear.
Mike. But you probably shouldn't eat too much in the middle of a soccer game. I did play soccer as a kid. We used to get orange slices at halftime, not Nutri-Grain bars. Humble brag over there at their house, obviously. Fucking love their kids so much, hey? I found some really old weed and I'm gonna roll it up into a joint because I can't handle this.
Sorry.
I'll even know. Yeah. I think she's muted, but you're not muted.
So Megan, in turn, she kind of nodded at me and just said that she's got this kind of handled. And then she proceeded to tell Asher that he could have the other Nutri-Grain bar that she was providing for him.
Were you trying to undermine her as a parent? And
Not at all. Not at all. And I did not respond. She is the mother and she has the say-so over that. But I was just.
So this sounds like a you issue, Grandma. You didn't want him to have a Nutri-Grain bar and Mom said he could have one. Why are we talking about this? Also, I just would like to say I'm getting triggered by the food control talk for some reason. I don't really know why. But it triggers me when parents control food a lot like that, like counting how many bars, or it just is, I don't know, it gives me an icky feeling. I struggled growing up until I was in my mid to late 20s before I really was able to like listen to myself. And no, it's not because I'm on a diet now. I'm not really on a diet. I listen to myself now and I eat food as I want, and I enjoy food, and I don't ever fat shame like my daughter. Like I was the kind of kid that was both forced to sit at a table and finish food, but also belittled for wanting other or more food. And so it's just a weird little internal problem I should probably get therapy for, but you know.
Doing it just to let her know that he had already had quite a bit beforehand. But absolutely, I would not, overrule her decision to let him have something else.
How would you characterize your relationship with Ms. Wenzel?
We have had the best relationship from the moment we met. I just took to her, and my whole family welcomed her in, and we were so excited for the future of her and Jake. It saddens me, really, that we're at this point. I feel like the whole Wenzel family and the Smith family got along very well in many different combined gatherings. I'm saddened. It's heartbreaking.
Here's the thing. I was fed a lot of really, really healthy food as a kid. Some of it was money related, and that's just the way it is. I get that. I get that it costs a lot of money to feed kids, etc. But one thing I really particularly don't like is adults that have separate snacks than kids' snacks. They don't share them. Sort of like based upon like the one person who's buying the food versus the person who has no say about it. I didn't like that. I never liked that. And then here's the thing that I've learned with my ADHD and whatever the fuck else is going on with me. I have food binges where I want to eat the same thing over and over and over again. And I don't want to eat other things. And so it seems like a food, like it's bad, but in reality, you just have to listen to yourself. If all you want to eat is the one thing, then to me, it's fed is best, as opposed to like, oh, so healthy, blah, 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 blah. To me, it's about being fed. And my daughter, I have to tell you, like my daughter's relationship with food is a lot different, but I wasn't breastfed. My daughter was breastfed. And they do say that when you breastfeed a baby, they stop eating when they're not hungry anymore because you're not cajoling them to finish a bottle. You don't see the milk left in there, and so you're not saying like, oh, finish this up. And it's not that people that feed babies infant like in bottles want to overfeed them. It's just a natural thing to do. You want them to finish a bottle. And so it does make sense to me. And the way my daughter ate growing up was much more intuitive than I ever did. And I did sort of like you do, cellulite yoga pants, like, you know, fruit available, foods. We sliced up, like my daughter loves red peppers and like loved them as little kids, you know? But things that I would never eat. And I'm only experimenting with foods now that she already eats. I find it hilarious.
For me to have to go through this and have that broken relationship with her now.
How old was Asher when you began taking care of him?
He was 3 months old.
And prior to you taking care of him, was Ms. Wenzel on maternity leave?
I believe so, but I think I'm not really certain. I think she went back to work for a while, but because she saved some of her maternity time for later. I mean, I'm not quite sure, but.
Me too, but I can't afford them, Jim. They are so expensive here, but I am 1,000% addicted to them. And I also found a great way to thaw them in my bra. They thaw perfectly in a bra, by the way. I love Uncrustables. There's a great example. Like, why is an Uncrustable so much better than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you could make yourself? I don't know. I'm sure it's some sort of preservative, but oh, so good. They do sell them here at Walmart. I did buy them like one time, but I can't bring myself to do it again because it's almost $1 a sandwich.
Did she work outside the home or did she have a remote job?
So yeah, COVID, I believe, took her home. She's always been remote since the time I started watching Asher.
Okay. Did you take care of Noah?
I did.
And how old was Noah approximately? Was it before or after Asher was born?
No, it was probably the first time was just shortly after I started watching Asher.
And at some point, did you start taking care of Samuel?
Yeah, Sam came to me when he was 6 months old, so September of 2022.
Did you have any behavioral issues with Noah?
You know, Noah struggles a little bit with behavior. There were a few times that it got a little bit crazy for me, but I mean, I'm able to like kind of deter and put his mind on something else. We had lots of things that he enjoyed doing here, and I had a playroom full of stuff. So I felt like I could get it under control rather quickly. But yeah, sometimes it was very demanding.
Tim, you are so sweet. Next month, I will. Thank you so much. I actually thank you so much, Jim. Seriously, thank you. I was thinking today. This is Grandma. Yes, MB. I was just wondering if you were on the plane yet or not. I was like, gosh, damn it. This is the grandma. But here's the thing. I think that the Uncrustables are so good because, well, it's sugary peanut butter, first of all. Like, let's just be real. And that's okay. I like it. Oh, yeah, my daughter used to eat like really natural peanut butter and I didn't. And it's not that she didn't want to eat my kind. She just, or it's not that she didn't want to eat, like, that she, anyways, she was allowed to eat both. She chose the natural one. I think it's the frozen because I eat them slightly still frozen, and those are the best time for Uncrustables when they still have a slight frozen bite to them. The bread is thawed, but the middle core is frozen. Yeah, I slightly defrosted, Jim. Oh, so good though. Thank you again.
To have the younger kids with him, but for the most part, it was good.
What did you charge
Fletcher boy, thank you so much. I literally knocked my hat off, saying thank you. You rock. That's a pack, right? You guys have got me 2 packs, minus YouTube daddies. YouTube daddies take. Oh, also, you guys, I figured out why you cannot join on an iPhone. Yeah, I'm smart. I figured it out. It's because Apple Daddy, just like YouTube Daddy, takes a percentage of things that are sent through the Apple Store or whatever, which is how people do it on the iPhone. And so when but YouTube Daddy doesn't want to give Apple Daddy their 20%. So Apple Daddy just said, no, well, then we're not going to let people join memberships on there because you're not giving us our 20%. But they still let you send super chats because that goes through their process first. But that's the most I can figure out. Because otherwise, like, why wouldn't it work? And I realized, because when you realize, because you go to the computer and you can do it, and that's because it's just through YouTube, not through Apple Daddy, and Apple Daddy doesn't take their 20%. What I'm telling you, by the way, is and first of all, thank you to anybody who ever sends anything, and of course we appreciate it, but that's to keep in mind. If it's on an iPhone, I literally think that YouTube Daddy and Apple Daddy take 50%. Oh, Fletcher boy, I know. I'm looking for a lighter right now too, dude. I have my last perfect joint rolled and I don't know where it is. Insert daddy chill meme here, right? Daddy on daddy violence. Daddy chill. Daddy chill. That's actually pretty close.
Charge your son and Ms. Wenzel for providing childcare?
No, I never charged them. I felt like it was something helpful for both of them to not have that expense.
Were there ever times when you couldn't care for the children due to commitments that you had?
Yeah, they were very minimal. I can recall one doctor's appointment for sure, maybe 2 doctor's appointments. I had 2 days that I did take the boys home at 3:50. Megan and I had communicated that and everything was fine with that. She was okay with it, but I did have a nail appointment. And I only recall one date, but I don't know what the other date is. And then vacation time, I had like a total of 11 days spun out between the 3 years that I watched them.
So in Ms. Wenzel's answer to our motion for temporary custody, she indicated that you watched the children from 12:30 to 4 p.m. when you were not on vacation or at hair and nail appointments. Do you think that was a regular issue?
Well, first of all, I feel so disrespected by that statement. I'm so surprised that she would say that, just because of our great relationship that we've always had. But it's just not true. It's just not true.
Okay. After your son and Ms. Wenzel separated, did Ms. Wenzel contact you to see if you would continue taking care of the children as you had before?
So after they separated, yes. It was the morning of July 5th because I thought
2023.
2023, yes. She had texted me in the morning and asked me if I was still available to watch the boys. I kind of thought it was more in the respect that it was the holiday weekend and did you have plans or did you not have plans kind of thing. And in the same text message, I also just told her how much we missed her and the boys for our annual 4th of July boat parade that we had been doing for the last couple of years with the boys. It's just a fun event. And We missed them. We missed having them.
So in her pleading, she indicated that you were unresponsive to her about caring for the children. Do you agree that you were unresponsive?
I have always answered her text messages, her phone calls. I have done it in a timely manner. I have never not responded to her.
After the parties separated, were you willing to continue to take care of the children?
Absolutely. I mean, in conversations what we had with one another, Megan, her mom, Jake, and I all together, we felt that it was in the best interest of the kids to keep them on their normal routine, just so that they're not trying to figure out what's going on and why can't I see my grandma? Why can't I, like they had always known.
How did it affect you when, well, let me stop. So at some point, did the boys stop coming to you for care?
Yes. So July 5th, I watched them. July 6th, they came on normal schedule, but on July 7th, they were a no-show. Like there was no call, there was no text, there was no communication whatsoever with me. And it got to be about 1 o'clock, a little shortly after 1 that day. And I ended up calling Megan's mom, Deb, because she's the one that normally dropped them off. And I'm like kind of worried, like, is everything
Be
okay?
careful. I don't want you to tell me what Deb said, because that's going to be hearsay, but you can tell me what you did.
Okay. Sorry. So I called her to ask her if the boys were coming, and she said no, that the boys were having.
And that's what I was afraid of.
Okay.
Objection.
Sorry.
So you called her and the boys didn't come.
Right. Yes, correct.
And did you reach out to Jacob or to Megan to find out what was going on?
I believe I called Jacob and let him know that the boys didn't show up.
And after July 7th, was there any discussion about you resuming that childcare for them?
We had a meeting, but I don't recall the date. The four of us did, to talk about all the issues really of when Megan asked my son to leave the home, that's we were trying to get them back together. I mean, I think that's what initially they both wanted to do.
Did you ever resume the childcare responsibilities?
No, they never brought them back, but it was discussed in the meeting. And I think Megan's response is that she had to go home and check the calendar that she had.
That's actually a pretty sick deal here though, right, guys? Think about that. Oh, also, I have a question. Does anybody here live in Wisconsin? If somebody lives in Wisconsin and they say, we're from the UP, what does that mean? UP girls. We're from the UP. What is that? I don't know what that means. Is that something like that you know what it is? Wahoo? Upper Peninsula. Upper Peninsula. Isn't Wisconsin landlocked? Isn't Wisconsin? Is it? Hold on though. I'm talking about Wisconsin. Are they close? Is this where my confusion lies? Here's the deal. I watch a YouTube channel. How weird is that? That but hold on. I don't understand. So I watch a YouTube channel and they are, hold on. That was my last match. I cannot let the joy go out or I'll be fucked. I watch Wisconsin. I can't even say it properly. Wisconsin. Maybe they're not from Wisconsin. No, they are though. They flew to Milwaukee. That was the airport they were flying into to drive home. So wouldn't that be close? Anyways, it's called Just the Bells 10, and it's about a family of 10, and they have an egg factory, which I fucking think is so cool, with all these chickens. And she was talking about, she goes, we don't wear boots here in the UP, we wear our slides. And I was just like, what in the fuck is the UP? But peninsula, I know what a peninsula is. I mean, there's peninsulas all over my island. But did I feel an earthquake earlier? Was there one? Uh-oh.
Quite a few appointments with the boys. But
How did
Now hold on. I don't know if any of you weren't here, by the way. Earlier we started off the show and I said, this is fucking annoying, because a peninsula is like a finger that sticks into well, to me, the ocean, right? Am I wrong about that? Anyways, I complained at the beginning and about 2 pizza places emailing me. Well, guess who just emailed me now? Pizza Hut. That's a 3rd pizza place emailing me. That's so mean. I'm just smoking weed, man. Just smoking weed.
she never called back like she said she was going to.
How did you feel about that?
Quite surprised, really. I mean, I can't iterate enough the love that I have for her and the Wenzel family. I mean, it saddens me. I'm heartbroken.
How did you feel about not caring for the children anymore?
It's pretty devastating. Pretty devastating. It's very, I mean, I gave up my job because it was something I wanted to do, but I love those boys with all my heart. And I gave up my livelihood to do it because I wanted to.
Are you aware that your son is looking for a 50-50 custody schedule?
I am.
And if he were to be awarded that, are you available to care for the boys?
I am. Absolutely.
If your son had to work overtime, could you assist him?
Absolutely.
If he was on call and went to a call, would you be able to assist him?
Absolutely. I am not doing anything now. I'm home sitting. I
am literally waiting for anything that Jacob needs, and I will do it immediately. I mean, that's good. I'm glad. I'm hard on everybody. Let's just remember that. I'm hard on everybody. At the end of this, I'm sure one of these people will come out on top. Well, in fact, who it'll be is the 2 lawyers who are getting paid up the yoo-hoo to do this. And then there's us watching. Seriously, pizza places need to back off. The beautiful thing is I don't have any money to get pizza. Like, there's no way that I'm getting pizza. So I just laugh at them. I'm like, okay. Also, I don't know who that no caller ID phone call was, but don't call me without caller ID because I won't answer it. Grim. I don't know what. Apparently, I've started. I picked up on something. I don't know where that is. The channel's great though. I love that channel. She's so funny. Behind but sending love, OFJ. Well, watch out for pizza.
That they were my life.
When are you able to spend some time with the grandchildren now?
I mean, before soccer started, my husband and I would kind of pop in on Wednesday visits that Jake had. We tend to felt like we were kind of intruding because Jake had such limited time with them that we didn't want to spend too much time there because we wanted him to be able to enjoy the boys himself. And of course, every other weekend we would pop in.
Wahoo! We found my lighter. Okay, life is back in balance. It was on the floor. I was looking at it, but woo! And soccer.
We did schedule a few fun things to go do together, but yeah, we limit our time. Just we feel like Jake deserves that time with them.
And when you're around, do the boys primarily come to you or to Jake for their basic necessities and care?
No, the boys are very attentive to their dad. They know that dad's going to take care of them. They have that just connection with him and the love with him. He's very responsive to their needs.
When you were caring for the children, who would normally drop the kids off to you?
For the most part, it was Deb Wenzel. Occasionally, it was Mike and Deb together. And then occasionally Sarah would drop them off as well. There were a handful of times that the boys would come separate, like Mike Wenzel would have Noah, Deb would have Sam, Sarah would have Asher. And so I had a 3-car parade into my, in front of my home to drop the boys off. But yeah.
Do you know why there were so many people dropping off the kids?
I don't know if they just had busyness going on. I don't know if maybe I really don't know the reasons.
That's fine. If you don't know, it's fine to say you don't know. Who would generally pick the kids up at the end of the day?
So in the beginning, it was kind of 50-50 with Megan and Jake. It could have been either one of them. I think they kind of communicated that on a daily basis to see how Jake's schedule was for the day, maybe kind of thing. But it was a 50-50 kind of thing. But when Megan's job switched to the 4-day, 10-hour days, and she had the Mondays off, her work day was longer. So it was from 7:30 in the morning till 5:30 at night. So at that point in time, Jake was mainly the one that would come and pick them up.
Did Jacob ever vent to you about problems in his relationship with Ms. Wenzel?
Occasionally he would bring up, I think it got to be stressful for him to try to, manage it on his own. So I feel like he was reaching out for a little bit of my advice. Of course, it was money all the time. They could not come to an agreement on money situation. But two, I think a really big part of this.
When they say money like that, I'm a little confused. Is he not a veteran? Or I guess when you leave the military early, you probably don't get money, do you? I don't know. Also, I'm not trying to be rude, but isn't the cost of living a little bit cheaper up in Michigan? It must be, since all these people own houses, not just the lawyers. Like where I live, a house is $1 million minimum. Aw, Jim, I'm sorry it's making you sad. Thank you for being here. Come back soon. It won't always be like this, I promise. But thank you again for the Uncrustables. And then you enjoy some Uncrustables too. Yeah, train workers. I thought he was making, again, and if she's working 40 hours a week, I mean, I don't know. See, what I realized is that while I've rented my whole life, I've paid more money in rent than a lot of people have in mortgages because of how expensive it is to live here. So I always just think wow, I can't imagine how stressful it would be to have a mortgage. But then I'm like, oh, but the mortgage is only what, $1,200? What? What? It's less than my fucking rent. But then there's all the expenses that come along with owning a house. Yeah, I know, but still. And believe me, a mortgage is not $1,200 here. A mortgage is more like $5,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 here.
Is Noah's behavior in their home was kind of out of control at times, and I think Megan and Noah kind of had a hard time. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe Megan had a hard time controlling Noah's behavior. He wouldn't listen to her and do what he should do. And so it kind of created a kind of a stressful environment, home life. And I think my son was kind of the bunt of it, in the respect that when Megan would get so stressed out, she would turn it towards Jake and make him feel like it was his fault that things were not going properly in the home.
Did Jake ever tell you that they disagreed about anything regarding their own two children?
I don't recall any disagreements with their own children.
Did Jake ever tell you that Megan was upset with his use of alcohol?
Never.
Did Megan ever come to you and express concerns over Jake's use of alcohol?
So when she called a meeting, her and I had a private meeting after the breakup. She first started out the conversation with, "I just want to handle this amicably." And I was a little thrown off with that because I didn't really know where that was coming from. But basically the whole conversation was about money and his lack thereof of contributing to the family financials. And she was frustrated and felt the stress on her that the bills weren't being paid on time. And she had a burden of not being able to make those ends meet.
Hold on, wait, they didn't have any childcare costs. But we did hear something that Jacob is the shopper, Jacob is the spender, Jacob is the one throwing around, buying for everybody. Huh. That's interesting to me. If she's the one making all the money. Wow. So the median home price is $175,000. Oh my God. That's a dream. I really think the median home price in my city, I'll look it up actually, but I'm scared actually.
Kind of thing. But in the very end of our conversation, she did mention that Jake had a situation. It was a New Year's Eve party at her.
The median home price is $725,000 here. That is $710 per square foot. And the benchmark value for a single family home in the Victoria Core in April last year was $1.295 million. Yeah. Shocking. I can't afford one. Yeah. That's nuts. That is so nuts. Oh.
Her family function on a, I don't know where it took place. It was her family function. But this was at a time in 2019 before even the children were born. And I said, I didn't recall anything happening.
That is Canadian money, but we earn Canadian money. So you have to understand, like, a dollar here doesn't buy what a dollar in the States buys. But so what that would be American, hold on. 724. It's still over $530,000 US as the median home price. But what else was I gonna say? Oh, and the median income here, this is the point. The median income in Victoria is 67,500. But the average was 84,000 for the household income. Household income.
He never shared anything that with me, but could I go home and talk to him about that? And so Jake and I talked about it, and it really just ended up being this mirage of different types of beers that they had brought. They were like doing a tasting of them all. Everyone in this family function was doing that, and it just upset his stomach, kind of thing. But Jake went home. He read a story to Noah. I think he put Noah to bed that night and read him a story, and claimed that he did wake up in the middle of the night and got sick. But I think it was because later we found out that he has intolerance to the yeast that is made with.
Are these things that you heard from Jacob and from Ms. Wenzel?
Miss Wenzel brought it up to me first, and then I questioned my son about it. And yes, yeah.
Was that the only incident of alcohol use that she brought to your attention?
Yes.
How so when you see your son now, briefly on the weekends and on Wednesdays, well, and let me ask, have you had an opportunity recently to spend more time?
I think that actually has a lot to do with zoning, Grim, at least where I live. Zoning implications. Basically, the land is so valuable in certain areas that the developers are not stupid. And so when they buy the land, they're going to develop it for the absolute most they possibly can. And that is not a mobile home park, even though it would work and it would help with people having affordable housing and different things. Why do that when you can build condos or townhouses on the same plot and make double, triple, quadruple for way less work? And then even if it's, and again, zoning requirements too, like our town is so hard to build in. It's so like, it's almost like a joke, like to be able to get through the zoning applications to build a house here is it's incredibly nuanced, which is weird, but it's just not a friendly city to build in anything.
Time with the kids and with Jacob?
More time.
Have you had any vacations with them?
Jake did have spring break week with the kids. So yeah, that was the first time we had gotten the kids all week long. And yeah, we decided to take a spring break trip with them. Yep.
Right. And where did you go?
We went to Chicago.
And did you what did you do in Chicago?
We went to Great Wolf Lodge. We went to the Navy Pier. We went to a children's museum. It was a fun weekend. We enjoyed it thoroughly. It was something Jake just so deserved, that extra time with them.
So how long were you gone?
We left Tuesday of spring break week, so it was at the 27th. And we got back early evening on Friday.
Okay. And you were gone that whole period of time?
Yes.
Now, did Jake have to work on that Monday?
He did.
And where were kids?
They came to my house.
Okay. And When did Jake come home at his regular time, or was he early?
Yeah, I think he was right on time. Yeah.
Do you remember what time he got home on Monday?
I'm gonna guess 4 o'clock.
And while you were on that trip, what did you observe about your son taking care of the children?
Oh, could you repeat again? I'm sorry.
It's okay. While you were on vacation, what did you observe about your son taking care of the kids?
I mean, he took it on by himself. I mean, he's very good at taking care of them. He changes their diapers. I mean, he gets their food, their drinks. He interacts with them, and just they had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
And were there any behavioral issues that he had to deal with the kids?
I don't recall any behavioral issues.
Did he pack all of their things that they needed for the trip?
Yeah, he did. Yep.
I don't recall any behavioral issues. Oh.
And when they were swimming, who was in the pool with them?
Well, it was either my husband. I mean, there was always two. So one was with Sam and one was with Asher. So my husband and I both went on the trip, and yeah, we were in attendance with all the pool time, play time.
In general, what kinds of things do you see your son do with the boys?
I mean, I think one of the best, funnest things that the kids enjoy is just rolling around on the floor and playing with him and hugging him, and just kind of fun wrestling, and they just giggle and play. But we have Legos there at his house. We have blocks. We have remote control cars. They have these really cool, like, little riding cars that they do in the basement. They each have their own.
Does he make meals for them?
He does all the cooking. He's a wonderful cook.
How do the children respond to him?
I mean, initially when they first, when I first see them, they're hugging him, they're kissing him. Asher just talks, like he's talking so fast he can't get it out fast enough. I think he's just trying to catch them up on all the things that maybe dad missed throughout the week. And Sam is just immediately just up, daddy, up. He wants daddy to pick him up and just carry him around.
And have you occasionally see the kids with Ms. Wenzel as well?
So since separation, I just briefly at some sporting events. Yeah.
Before they separated and you would see the kids with their mother, what did you observe about their relationship?
When the boys were younger, I felt like she was very loving and held them and was
Younger? Aren't they 3 or 4 years old? 4 and 2 or something? Oh, I thought of a funny story. That's terrible. Okay. No, I'm not gonna tell it. No. I'll tell it in members only. I'll write it down. Oh.
just really motherly to them when they were very tiny babies. But as they grew up a little bit, I didn't really see that kind of interaction, the love kind of thing. Not that she didn't have a connection with them and they thoroughly enjoyed being with their mother, but I just didn't feel that love connection that she had with them when they were little.
When they were together, when your son and Ms. Wenzel were still together and you saw the family together, who would the children primarily go to to have their needs met? Like if they wanted a cookie or they needed to use the potty or something like that?
Are you talking like more like a family gathering, like at my house?
Correct. Or if you were at their house visiting or.
Well, always my son would prepare the boys' plates of food, definitely. He would assist them in eating and making sure their sippy cups were full. He put their needs before his own. He would not, he normally did not eat his dinner until the kids had theirs first.
Did you ever have to help out and take care of the kids when Ms. Wenzel would have migraines?
Yeah, there were a couple times that she texted me and asked me if I could watch them a little longer. She had already communicated with Jake, and Jake was working late those couple days. And so I automatically said, absolutely, I don't mind at all. No problem at all. I think there were, yeah.
Did you, so you said that only happened a couple of times?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of times that she sent her mom back over to pick them up because that she was having a migraine.
Have you ever been around Ms. Wenzel when she had a migraine?
She came and picked them up one time after she had had a bad bout with a migraine. I think it was like a couple days that she was down, but that she had come to pick them up. And she just looked tired, maybe just like a little exhausted looking, a little withdrawn, maybe not so talkative as she normally would have been. But that she was feeling better and she was hopeful for.
Wait, she was talkative normally? You guys painted her as a silent bitch in the corner, just hissing at Jake and anybody who said anything. And then now, when she doesn't have a migraine, she's actually like cool.
You know.
Did you ever have to watch Sam when Jake was with Asher at a soccer game in Kalamazoo due to Megan having a headache?
Yes, I did. I did go to a soccer game in Kalamazoo. Yep.
And did you pick Sam up there or?
Did I think he was well, Jake brought both of them, but because the soccer in Kalamazoo requires a parent to be on the field with them, because Jake would need to be on the field with Asher, and so I watched Sam with him as they played on the field.
Do you know how long ago that was? Were they still together?
Yes, they were still together. Yep.
Have you had much contact with Ms. Wenzel's sister, Sarah?
You mean after separation?
Correct.
We've run into each other, branch gymnastics. She was there. Tennis lessons on Wednesday was happening for a while, and she would be there.
Have you done any exchanges?
Hold on, did she just say gymnastics and tennis lessons and they're in soccer and they're getting their nails done? I have a question. I have a theory. Also, Vicky, we are not gonna watch her today. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just telling you. We have 3 hours left of this that we are absolutely not completing today. But look at Jacob. But we will finish her testimony and cross-examination. I think that's fair. That'll be like probably over 3 hours. But I can't do like that'd be 6 or 7 hours of streaming today. I mean, I can do it. We know I can because I did that 8-hour stream one time. But you know what I mean. So we'll finish up her testimony and then we'll get back at it tomorrow.
Either with Jacob or on Jacob's behalf of the children?
So when they first separated and Jake stayed here at my home, Sarah would be the primary person to come and pick them up after visits. So on Wednesday nights, she would pick the boys up. And on Sunday evenings, she would pick the boys up as well. So yeah, we seen her on those days.
Was that a cordial relationship?
In the beginning, yeah. I mean, I would say so, but as time went on.
Jonathan, I don't need watch hours. When you're starting out, you need watch hours. I'm well past that. Plus, I think we got 10,000 watch hours last month. We're doing fine for watch hours without the long streams. It actually fucks up my watch hours if you think about it, because people don't watch much of it. So it's gonna probably have like a 1% watch ratio.
I personally myself, I felt like I should just maybe kind of back off a little bit and not like put myself out in front, you know. I just felt like we don't need any confrontation. I didn't want confrontation, so.
Did you and Sarah have any confrontations?
We did. So it was at Branch Gymnastics, October. Jake and I experienced lack of letting us, you know, acknowledge Asher when he was done with his class. Like they were rushing him to get his coat on and to leave. And really all what Jake and I were trying to do was just kind of give him a high five and tell him what a good job he did. So the next week when we went, Jake and I thought, well, we'll just get up from our seats a little bit early and just be at the door when the kids come out. And we can just quickly just give them, you know.
Loud, maybe same time tomorrow, like 11 Pacific, 12:02, 2 East. Also, I just checked and I have 38,000 watch hours. So last month was really good comparatively. Let's keep that up, guys. Bingo, bango. And those are absolute humble brags that I love sharing with you guys. And will mom bring her family? I don't know.
You know, a good job kind of thing, and let him know that we loved him and he did good. And Sarah kind of rushed behind us like there was something wrong. I mean, this waiting room is tiny and there's lots of parents, and the kids are exchanging the new classrooms. Kids are coming out. So it got clustered and loud, and I did not have my hearing aids in that day. And so I just hear noise. I don't hear someone trying to talk to me. But her tone of her voice was intimidating to the point where I felt threatened by her. I really did feel I wasn't sure what she was going to do kind of thing, because she just kind of went, hi and have a good night kind of thing. And I just felt like that was just so inappropriate. And like she was kind of just putting me in my place kind of thing to move me on and not let me have that interaction with Asher.
Have you had any other instances where you felt like Sarah had overstepped?
You know, for just the general whole idea of her being the one to come and pick them up, I think is just causing Jake and Megan to not be able to co-parent them with themselves. I feel like she's always in the middle and creating a situation that
Are you joking me right now, Lisa? Lisa, we have just spent 5 fucking hours. No, sorry, I'll be fair. 3 hours plus listening to your family talk about their hyper involvement with these children. And you're complaining about one member of her family being involved in helping her. I don't like that. So Sheena, what a good question though. If I have a way around this, you can just sort of be direct. Person A is talking about food and person B says, no, thank you. And then person A keeps offering person B food. Person A can say, hey, this seems like it's really important to you. Is there a reason why you want me to taste this so badly? I would say what I said. But you guys, those things are normal. I mean, sometimes food is a safe topic for some people, so they might talk about it. It's not abnormal to be annoyed, but I think I would just wonder why. Oh, but if I don't know. I don't even know the answer now. One question needed asking: what time did the wife get up every day? That's a good question. She's working 10-hour shifts from home, so possibly just 5 minutes before work started.
just she doesn't have that emotional touch to this, and so it doesn't affect her, and so she tends to release this kind of cold attitude towards us. I did witness her taking pictures of us and videoing us as we were coming out of my place, bringing the boys down, and I just felt like that was very uncalled for.
Does Sarah usually do the exchanges?
There's not been a time that Megan has been at any exchange
that you've been to.
That I've been. Yeah.
Okay. Where does Sarah park when she comes to your house to do the exchange?
On the front, outside the front door.
Have you ever experienced Sarah following you?
There has been some occasions that we have seen her show up to where we're at. Mm-hmm.
Would this be after an exchange or independent of an exchange? Well,
one instance was when we had to take the boys to urgent care. The boys had come to Jacob that weekend of New Year's. It was the New Year's Eve weekend. So Megan was fully aware that the boys weren't feeling well, and we ended up taking them into urgent care just because they weren't doing any better, and we just wanted them to get checked out. But when we were leaving the establishment, Megan was on the side of the building watching us load up the kids in the car.
Megan or Sarah?
Sarah. Did I say Megan? I'm sorry. Sarah was parked on the side of the building watching us load up the kids. She
Isn't this a pretty small town though?
Quickly just drove out behind our car and then left the parking lot. But we took the boys home, and then I grabbed the prescription that needed to be filled, and I took it down the road to Walgreens, and that's when I noticed that she was also there.
Wait, you were doing all that, or Jacob? I thought Jacob did everything. Always.
Did you have any discussions with Megan about that, or did you just let it go?
I just let it go. I didn't want any confrontation with Megan. Because I really felt like we were gonna like get this worked out before it went to this far.
When you were on spring break with your son and the boys, did you see your son drink any alcohol?
None of us drink any alcohol.
And did did Asher have any health issues that were going on at that time?
I'm going to say yes and no. I mean, Asher has always kind of had a constipation problem for, it's just a common occurrence that happens in kids. But for this week, Jake was given instructions.
Bye, Jim. Take care. We'll see you soon. Remember, tomorrow, Court Watchers Anonymous, followed by members only.
From Megan /pediatrician on a regimen that they wanted him to follow with Urelax being given to him twice a day. And Jacob was very attentive to that, and Asher received every dosage that was required. And it was quite evident just because we constantly had to be running Asher back and forth to the bathroom, and we had to be changing his pants a little bit more often just because of the medicine was working basically.
Was there any kind of special diet that Asher needed to be on?
Not that I'm aware of.
Were you mainly going out to eat on that vacation?
Yeah, we had to. Yep.
Okay. What kinds of food does Jake order for the kids when you're going out to eat?
Well, so Great Wolf Lodge, they have a morning breakfast buffet, so it's just everything. The boys got to go pick out everything that they wanted, and they could eat as much as they wanted. It was just unlimited. It was a beautiful setup. But yeah, lunchtime was, let's see, what did we do? We did some chicken nuggets and fries and some pizza, but dinner time was more of a sit down. We did sit down dinner, and the kids love pasta, and Asher loves shrimp, and so we did shrimp pastas and linguinis and I think Sam had a chicken broccoli Alfredo, but fresh fruit was always part of it.
Are you aware of whether Ms. Wenzel is still nursing Sam?
I mean, I didn't think she was, but with some events that have happened, she tends to try and nurse him at events, but I'm not sure the reasoning for it. And Sam seems to not. I mean, I can see him trying to push away. I mean, she tries to cover up his head with blanket or a coat or whatever, and he's constantly, trying to get out, kind of thing.
And is he a good eater of solid food?
Asher or Sam loves food, and now that he's talking more.
Are they really making the allegation she's forcing this child to breastfeed when he doesn't want to? Children are distractible. That is what nursing covers are for. That's not unusual. Weird.
He's able to verbalize what he's wanting, and he tells us what he wants to eat. So yeah, he enjoys food.
When you were on that vacation, did either of the kids cry for their mom or have difficulties going to bed without their mom?
Never. There was no time of crying or asking for mom I think just because the boys were just having so much fun. I think it was just time that they enjoyed too with their dad. And
do you think that your son could handle working full time and having the kids 50% of the time?
Absolutely. 100%. I have full confidence in him. He is a great father. He is dependable. He is trustworthy. He's fun and humorous. And those boys love him. And he is loving and engaging with them as well. I just think it's just such an important relationship for them both on both sides to have that. Those boys need their father.
Other than you, are there other family members available to support Jacob in his care of the kids?
Yeah, my daughter, who also has 2 children, Aniston is just 8 months younger than Asher, and the two just connect.
Ew, Aniston? No, no, you didn't. Aniston? No. 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 I can't wait for Cross.
And they have so much fun. And actually, Sam was just asking last night when Aniston gets to come over to his house because he wants to take her into his room.
I'm of
Yeah.
course going to object that it's hearsay, but
Sustained.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Ms. Paisley?
thank you. Miss Smith, I want to take you back a little bit in regards to your timeline of events. You indicated that you retired, I think you said in January of 2021.
That is correct.
Okay, and Asher was born in January of 2020, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and when you have 2 other grandchildren, was another one of them born in 2020?
Yes.
Okay, what time?
My granddaughter was born in September of 2020.
Okay, did you retire also to take care of your daughter's daughter?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you recall that Miss Winslow took approximately a 4-month maternity leave after Asher was born?
Like I said in the first statement, I know she had maternity time. I don't know what actual time frame that was. I don't know.
You indicated that you quit your job because it was your calling and you had to pick between your job and raising your grandchildren. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it's your calling to raise your grandchildren?
It's my calling to help my son and what was my future daughter-in-law to be helpful in the cost of childcare.
Have you ever told Megan that you wanted to help raise these kids because you wanted to redo what you couldn't do with your own?
We talked about this in our meeting that we had, and I was expressing to Megan how when I was raising my children and working full time, that I did miss out on some things with them, and I felt very blessed to be able to retire and spend some extra time with my grandchildren.
So kind of like a redo.
Yeah,
correct?
you know, just to be able to enjoy them. Mm-hmm.
You believe that Megan kicked Jake out when they separated?
Megan asked Jake to leave.
Why?
Why did Megan ask Jake to leave?
Yeah, do you know?
In our meeting, she stated that he had stopped making payments to her for mortgage payment, bill paying utility bills.
And he had stopped paying those rent and utility bills 6 months prior to that. Is that correct?
We didn't talk about that. I don't have a time frame on that.
Okay. Do you have a nursery in your home?
I mean, it's a nursery / playroom. Yeah, but it has a crib and a changing table and toys and yeah.
When did you build that in your house?
Preparing to take care of the children in 2020.
In 2020?
Yeah, I started watching Asher in 2020.
Okay. Did you build your nursery before Jake and Megan built their nursery?
I don't recall. I don't.
Do you recall the time when you were watching Asher that Megan kind of stopped having you watch Asher so much? Was there a period of time when she stopped having you watch Asher? Watch
Never.
Asher?
Never.
Once you left Asher in a walker for periods of time that created open wounds on his legs, she didn't ask you to stop watching Asher?
Those open wounds, those wounds were created from her putting him in a backpack on her back when she would go for her walks.
It wasn't
had
you keeping him in a walker all day long?
Absolutely not.
Okay. But she didn't reduce your time during that time either. That's your testimony.
Yes.
Okay. Now, through your testimony with Attorney McNiff, you kept using the word we. Who's we?
I don't know. I don't know what you're referring to.
We purchased toys for the boys.
My husband and I.
Okay. And you also said we purchased clothing and toys in the basement for the boys.
My husband and I.
Okay. Do you purchase these children's clothing?
I contribute very significantly. Matter of fact, in June, before they were taken away, I had provided 10 summer outfits each for them.
Okay.
And I gave them to her. Yeah.
Okay. And did you purchase when Jake was moving into his home, did you purchase the clothing for Jake's home in 2023?
I helped, create, but I had lots of clothes here already for them in my own closet.
Miss Smith, did you also then purchase the toys for the home at Jake's house?
No, not all of them.
Did you purchase the beds for Jake's house?
We did get the bed from, it was a second hand. Yep.
Okay. Now, do you recall, I was not involved at the case at the time, but there were some interrogatories requesting copies of receipts and proof of things that were purchased for the boys. Do you recall that?
Not really.
Jake would have had to fill it out and you guys had to provide documentation as to who was purchasing what for the boys. You don't recall that?
I was not part of any paperwork for legal reasons.
It's not your handwriting on the answers to interrogatories?
No, I'm confused I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Let me ask you this. Do you recall Attorney McNiff asking you or Jake to produce receipts for documents or for things that were purchased for the boys?
I think I can kind of remember doing something for some pajamas or something. Because I know, and I provided some receipts because I had went and bought some special outfits for Asher to wear. Jake was trying to get him in a full blast basketball camp, and it was indoor, and we didn't have summer clothing. So yeah, I did provide that, I believe. I really don't remember.
Okay. And when did Jake move out of Megan's house? Do you recall?
I believe she asked him to leave on July 2nd.
Of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And was there a period of time that they were dating and trying to get back together?
Yes. Pretty much for the whole month of July. They did a lot of things together.
During that period of time, did Megan reach out to you to get answers regarding after Jake moved out?
To get answers? To get, I don't know, to get answers on?
About Jake or what was going on and how to help fix things?
Well, with our meeting that we had, just her and I, that was one of the things that we had talked about, is that I would get the chance to go home and talk to my son about all of the stuff that she had told me, and that I asked her if it would be okay if Jake gave her a call after we spoke. And that happened, but Megan didn't accept the call, didn't take the call from Jake.
Did she take calls from you?
I don't know that oh yes, I did try to call her because she didn't accept the call. And I thought that we had this agreement that, that he would give her a call and they could communicate about what our meeting was about and what our plan, initially to try to get them both on the same track.
Okay. Now, you indicated that you pop in on occasion on Wednesdays during Jake's parenting time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that every Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. And on those every Wednesday, if the boys have tennis or soccer, you attend that as well. Is that correct?
I do.
And it's actually you who brings, like when Asher had tennis, it was actually you who would bring the racket in. Is that correct for Asher?
No.
Is it you who brings the snacks?
No.
Is it you who brings the chairs for Samuel to sit in?
The only chair I brought was last night for Sam to sit in at the soccer game. That was the only time I brought a chair.
Okay. Jake does everything else? He
Yep.
brings everything else?
Yep. Jake carries a black duffel bag, a backpack type bag, and it's got everything in it.
You indicated that there was one time in Kalamazoo that you had to go and help Jake because Megan had a migraine. Is that correct?
Yes.
That was one time, correct?
Yep.
And when was that?
It was nice weather, so I'm going to say April. Let me see. Gosh, when does indoor soccer over there?
April 2022.
Maybe 2022. I really am not positive, but
okay. Now, are you present at these exchanges when Jake and Sarah exchanged the kids on Wednesdays?
I was when my son was living with me, but when he moved into his own home, I'm not there for those exchanges.
Is that because you leave a half an hour before the exchange takes place?
If I leave a half an hour before, yeah, I choose to not be there when the exchange takes place. Okay. But like I said,
how about on the weekends? Are you there on Fridays when he gets the kids?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you there on Saturdays when he has the kids?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you there on Sundays when he has the kids?
Yeah.
Do you spend the night?
I did spend the night one night. My son was not feeling well, so he went to the ER.
Okay. When was that?
January. I really don't recall. January, February, one.
How long are you there on Sundays?
I mean, it just depends on what we have planned. There's no really specific time frame. If there's.
You're actually around quite a bit when Jake has the kids, aren't you?
We try to spend as much time with the boys as we can because we don't have a specific time for us to visit with them. Okay. My husband and I do not get to see them otherwise.
Okay. If at these, let's say at tennis that you attended and it was Jake's parenting time, were you responsible for Samuel?
At tennis, was I responsible for Samuel? No. I don't.
Who was Sam with if his dad was out? Was Jake being responsible for Samuel, or were you responsible for Samuel?
At tennis?
Yep.
Jacob.
Okay. Did you ever do anything to prevent the children from Samuel from going down to see his mom?
No,
You openly allow that to happen?
it's not really my place to allow it or not to allow it.
Does it bother you that the kids want to go see their mom on dad's parenting time?
I mean, I feel like it is Jacob's time and it's very limited. And the boys had just left Megan's house. My son picks them up at 4 and we're at the tennis lesson at 4:30. I feel like that time should be Jacob's time.
So it does bother you a little bit.
It does.
Okay. When Jake picks the children up on those Wednesdays, does he come right to your house?
Picks them up on Wednesday from Megan's house. Does he come to my house? Never.
Okay. Are you immediately at his house when he picks up the boys on those Wednesdays?
Immediately.
Within a half an hour, are you at Jake's house?
Sure. I don't really, have a time. I don't keep track of a time clock with it. But
do you think the boys are better off with you or better off with Megan?
Oh my God.
the boys need their mom.
Okay. She's a loving mom, isn't she?
To a certain extent, yes.
And it's obvious that these boys love their mother. Is that correct?
Yes.
They seem to really like being with her. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Did you encourage Jacob to file a petition for 50-50 parenting time?
I'm sorry, you cut out in the very beginning of your question.
I'm sorry. Sometimes my internet kind of laps.
Yeah.
I said, did you encourage Jacob to file this complaint for 50-50 parenting time?
No.
How early does Jacob leave for work?
I think he leaves like around 6:15
a.m.
Yes.
Okay. Now, during spring break, you had the boys actually overnight on that Sunday. Is that correct? Because Jake had to go to work
No.
on Monday.
No. Jake brought them to my house before he went to work.
What time did he drop the kids off?
I don't. I'm gonna say 6 o'clock. I really don't recall.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you, Sarah, Megan, Jake, all kind of live within like a mile radius of each other?
That is true.
Now, you had the children all day on that Monday. Is that correct? While Jake was at work?
That is true.
Were you aware that Megan had asked for 4 hours of parenting time anytime during that week?
No, I was not aware.
Okay. Do you know when Jake told Megan that he was going to be exercising spring break?
No, I do not.
And you indicated that you took the children to Chicago for spring break for a couple of days. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And to Great Wolf Lodge?
Correct.
Where in Chicago is Great Wolf Lodge?
I believe. Is it Gurney? I'm not really sure on the town. Is it Gurney? I don't recall.
I'm asking you. Is that actually much north of Chicago?
Yes.
Do you know if Jake told Megan that he was that you were taking the children out of state?
I don't know why you over exaggerated you, but I don't have that information.
are you aware that Megan was actually told you guys were going to be possibly in like Ann Arbor and other day visits?
No, I did not know that.
On this date and time that you took when I say you, I mean you and Jake, okay? You were using the word we, so I can't really say. So the both of you took the children to urgent care in December of 2023. Did you guys tell Megan that you were taking them to urgent care prior to you taking them to urgent care?
So this was a January, are you talking about January? Wait, okay, yeah, it was New Year's Eve weekend. So when Jake picked the boys up, the boys were already sick. So Jacob and Megan had already done their communicating with the issues with their health.
Okay.
I think Jake was constantly in communication with Megan on what was going on.
Okay. I'm gonna ask this a different way. Are you aware if Jake told her before the children went to urgent care that he took the children to urgent care?
I don't have that information. No, I do not know.
Well, you were with them while they went, correct?
I did go with him, yes.
Did any time did Jacob say, "Hey, I probably should tell Megan what's going on"?
No.
Do you think that's something that Megan should have been made aware of if the children were being taken to urgent care?
Megan was aware that the boys did not feel good before they left her
Okay,
house.
Miss Smith,
So,
I understand that she was aware that the children didn't feel well. I'm asking you if she was aware that the children were taken to urgent care. They're two different issues.
Well, I answered that question, and I said that I did not know what the communication was between Jake and Megan on that issue.
Ms. McNiff, did you have an objection? There was talking over and I didn't catch it.
I thought that had already been asked and answered, but I think it's done now.
Hopefully.
It is. And you indicated that Sarah was following you after the urgent care?
Yes.
And she showed up at the hospital and as well as when you went and got the prescription?
I'd seen her behind me, yes. Mm-hmm.
And you didn't say anything to her, is that correct?
No.
Is Asher potty trained?
He will urinate. He will tell us when he has to go, but as far as a bowel movement, he is not. But I feel like too, some of that might be just with his constipation issue as well. He's struggling that way, but yeah, no, he's not completely potty trained.
Okay. Is he in a pull-up or a diaper?
Pardon?
Is he in a pull-up or a diaper?
He's mainly in pull-ups. Yep. He does have some diapers at Jake's house, but Jake has purchased some pull-ups because Megan has asked him to not put him in diapers anymore.
One second, Your Honor. And I'm going to go a little bit outside the scope of your direct, if you don't mind, Miss McNiff, so I don't have to recall her.
That's fine.
Okay. Or Judge, I hope you don't mind.
If Ms. McNiff doesn't object, I don't either.
Okay. Now, is it my understanding that you attend church?
I do.
And where do you attend church?
Woodland Church.
Thank you. And after the parties separated, did Jacob start attending church with you?
Yeah.
Does he go every Sunday with you?
Not every Sunday, no.
Okay. Does he go every Sunday that he has the boys?
Yes.
And what type of denomination is that? What religion is it?
Wesleyan.
All right. Are you aware that the children were baptized Catholic?
Absolutely, I was there for their baptisms.
Okay. Are you aware that Megan has a strong belief in raising the children Catholic?
I don't know what her level of is. I know that Jake and Megan attended church at Woodland when they were together. They would come a handful of times and participate in church with at Woodland.
Was that normally for a special event or something you requested them to be at?
No, actually, Megan called me a couple times and asked if it would be okay to join in the service. I said absolutely. I would love for you guys to come.
Are the boys, so the boys go with Jacob and I'll say you on his Sundays. Is there a daycare or something there that Sam goes to?
Both boys are enrolled in their classrooms. Jake has tried to initiate Sam to be able to go into the classroom by himself, but Sam's not really quite ready. Jake did go in and sit with him for a few minutes to try and see if he would warm up to the other kids in the classroom, but it was unsuccessful. Sam just wanted to be with Dad, so.
Who signed the kids up for that program or those classrooms?
So I'm going to say back in 2020, Jake signed all the boys up. Noah and Asher both were signed up at that point.
Are you aware of any time that Megan tried to get access to their attendance at Woodland since separation? Are you aware that she tried to get that information?
Yes, I am aware.
And is it true that you and Jacob were preventing her from getting that information?
That is not true.
Are you aware that the church had to ask your permission to release the information?
Not my permission, but when Jacob originally set up this account in 2022, Megan was there, and that was just expected for Jake to do that initial signing them up at the church. It was nothing to keep her off of that list.
But you're aware they had to ask Jake's permission in order to give her the information after separation.
Yes, but I feel like Megan could have asked Jake for that information, or kind of communicated a little bit more with that, and I don't think it would have ever been an issue.
Are you aware that Jake actually removed Megan from the information and added you to be able to access all the information?
I did not know that.
Okay. If Jacob was awarded 50-50 parenting time, how much time do you think the children would be with you?
I mean, that's kind of a big question. I can't predict what might be in the future, but I just know that I am available to help him when he needs my help.
And if Megan was available during those periods of time as well, it would be more appropriate that the children were with you during Jake's time instead of with Megan?
Appropriate? I don't know. I just feel like from the beginning of these boys coming into my care was just something that was, I guess I just expected that I would be a part-time caretaker, and yeah.
Part-time or full-time?
Part-time in the beginning, because Megan's mom would take the boys in the morning and I would get them in the afternoon. That's when they were together. So it worked for all the parties. We all just were in agreement. We never had any issues whatsoever with.
I'm going to rephrase my initial question. If Jake has parents' time, you would most likely have them from when he left for work in the morning to when he would get home from work. Is that correct?
I mean, I would assume so. I don't know what Jake's plan, and we haven't really talked about that in that depth.
But you're saying you'd be available to watch them or have them every day.
Absolutely.
And you would quite actually enjoy that. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to ask it again. You would prefer that they were with you and not Megan during Jake's time, correct?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, Megan has a full-time job as well. And yeah, I would enjoy the time with my grandsons.
I have no further questions.
Okay, Ms. McNiff, any redirect?
Yeah. Ms. Smith, why do you choose to not be there when the child exchanges take place at your son's home?
I just don't want the confrontation. I don't want, I'm a peacemaker. Like I said, we've always gotten along with the family, and it is my hope that when all of this is over with, that our families can come together and provide the best life for the boys, and we all work together to make that happen.
Are the classes that the kids go to at the Woodland Church childcare, or are they Sunday school?
Sunday school.
Do you know if the children go to childcare now?
I don't know.
So you don't know where they are when Ms. Wenzel is working?
No, I do not know.
Would you prefer that the children be with you or be in a childcare situation, like a licensed childcare?
I would prefer that they be with me.
Do you have any desire to take away time from Ms. Wenzel?
Absolutely not.
I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Ms. Hazen?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, that concludes your testimony. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank God. Okay, we've been going almost 3.5 hours. Oh, I need to stretch. I think we all need to do a little stretch. Fall off our chairs. You know what I mean. Get ready for tomorrow when we will try and finish this. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love the fact that you want me to keep going, even though we've already been going on this case for hours upon hours upon hours. But alas, this is supposed to be my Saturday off. I will be back tomorrow. Let's say same time, same place, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We will hear Megan tomorrow, Fletcher Boy. We will indeed. I think, actually, I don't know. And 2 p.m. East exactly. Thank you so much for all of you guys being here. Yeah, I guess you can be on replay crew. I look like I was working fast food drive-through. Hi, can I take your order? Yeah, no problem. Did you want fries with that? All right, guys. I love ya. I love you. I'm proud of you, and I will see you in the next video.